Hey, this is Chase Sexton. You're listening to the MotoXpod show.
What's up, you guys? Jeremy McGrath here. You are listening to MotoXpod show.
Surprise! We're back a day early, Tuesday night, with a new Vital MX MotoXpod show presented by Race Tech and Boyesen. If you're watching on the Vital MX YouTube channel, which I consider all of you guys need to do, come join us, check it out. We're a day early, but I'll be traveling tomorrow, so that's why we're going a day early. It's going to be a good show, though. Thanks to my co-host for rearranging their schedules. Let me introduce them. On the cameras, in studio, Scotty Thompson, once again. What's up, Scotty?
Hey, not much, man. Just glad to be here.
Are you glad to be here?
You know, it's funny. When you drive in, it's freaking hot outside, and I don't have air conditioning in my truck right now, so it's like you drive in here, and it's like it's hot and long. I'm trying to get here, and then I can't hear myself at all.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah. And then you get here, and then I'm just talking with you hooligans, and then the intro song comes on, and I start getting hyped, and yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Also in studio, 2 in a row. It's like unprecedented. TJ Smith.
And here early as usual, beat Scotty. Every time I'm here, I'm always
that is true.
beating him here. So
that's not hard to do. It's not hard to do. We gotta be nice, TJ, because we made him cry last week. No comment?
I don't remember crying, but
I felt like he was crying. I mean, kind of like Hayden Deegan.
I was about to say I was like when I saw Hayden Deegan on the side of the track crying, I was like, oh, that's how Scotty felt.
Yeah, we're used to this. We knew how to deal with it. Also on the phone, all the way from sunny Southern California. I assume it's sunny. Usually is Southern California. From Vital MX, Michael Lindsay. What's up, Emil?
I actually got 2 emails about last week's show. I don't know what happened, but all I got was that you guys were being too mean to Scotty. And then I commented back to the person. The one email said that, they just pick on him for everything he does. And I emailed back, I'm like we pick on Jamie for everything he does. And the guy emailed me back and said, fair enough.
Was the email from somebody named Tommy Scottson?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, poor Scotty. We felt bad for
Wait, we
didn't. No, we didn't.
Yeah.
No, we actually didn't.
You guys felt bad?
No, we actually didn't. I take it back. I don't want to lie to our listeners. Yeah. Anyway, as we get in,
it's one thing to lie to each other, but you can't lie to the listeners.
It's okay. I got credit with Michael last week because I gave you a hard time about something with to do with because you couldn't finish your job in France or Italy or wherever you went.
It happens.
Yeah.
Italy.
God,
how are the ribs? Are they fractured? Are they broken? Do we have a confirmed X-ray here yet?
The CAT scan when I landed in California or landed back in Texas said fractured.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So fractured, and then they were worried I had what's that? Look, TJ.
No, I just keep getting a weird cramp in my
leg.
leg.
I thought you were reacting to something I said.
What you said.
Then they thought I had like a blood clot or something, but yeah, I ended up going back in for another CAT scan, but it's all good. And I rode Saturday, so I'm getting there. We're getting back on course. As we get into the Boyesen Open discussion, I want to remind everybody to go to Boyesen.com, join the Boyesen Factory Flyers by applying for their Factory Racing Rider Support Program. Guys, you can get support for moto and off-road with exclusive access to products, discounts, and possibly become a new product development test rider. Boyesen.com for that. All right, first topic on the Boyesen Open discussion, TJ, Scotty, ML. Triumph today. Triumph unveiled their monthly. What's that?
They triumphantly
revealed their engine today. Last month it was the frame. They're doing this whole thing, I guess, like once a month. They're going to reveal some part. I want to know what you guys think of this marketing plan. I'm going to go to you first.
It's not once.
What's that?
It's not once a month.
Okay.
It's not once a month.
What is it?
It's like every 2. The full unveil is in 2 weeks again.
Oh, okay. Well, either way,
still.
I don't like it. I just show me the damn bike is how I feel. I'm not enjoying it. Some people are. What do you
I
think?
think I'm indifferent to that.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, it's like it's different, something different, and they obviously aren't ready to reveal the whole thing for some reason, and so.
So do you find yourself going, oh, I can't, like right now, today, I can't wait for what's next in a couple weeks. Like, what's next? Oh my God, I can't wait.
No, I didn't even know that they revealed the motor today.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I'm saying, I'm indifferent. Just when the bike comes out, it'll come out. It'll be like, I guess I'm just like, I will see it when we see it. We'll get there when it's time.
I'm going to go to Michael next. And I know him being the tech guy, he probably is loving this. Like, he probably has like I'm guessing Michael has like an alarm set. Today's the day.
No.
No?
They, like the theory, and I don't. They're not giving enough, I felt like they talked more on the chest one than the
ML, you're breaking up really bad.
Yeah.
You're really bad.
Yeah, like we're not hearing hardly anything you're saying.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man.
He said, what?
What?
How could that be?
We get that part. Scotty, what did you think about it while he fixes his phone?
Like, I'm not like really inept to all of the stuff because I don't.
Did you just say inept?
Yeah, he is not inept.
You're inept to the English language.
Yeah, exactly.
You sound like TJ now. Anyway.
I'm inept to all the bike reveals and all that stuff because I'm a fan of racing and being, the riders and watching the sport and stuff. I really could care less about the new 24 or the new 23 or the new
segment's
bike.
going to go really bad.
Well, why? Because I have a different opinion as you.
Let's go back to ML for a minute.
Okay.
I think he's just indifferent to it because he doesn't even have a motorcycle he can ride. But,
Exactly. Yeah.
It hurts his feelings.
Yeah.
Part of it's at my house.
Hey, that engine might fit his bike.
Yeah, that's right. So that engine
It looks like that engine might fit your bike. I don't know.
Exactly.
But yeah, ML, but do you, so you were saying you do or don't like this whole marketing scheme?
I do. The theory of it, I don't like the execution. The engine info, there was just nothing there to chew on. There was just nothing there that I'm like, ooh, look at it.
It looks like if you just go to KTM's Microfiche, you can see everything you want.
Because I do know, we've been saying this whole time, it was going to be pretty much a reversed engineered KTM 250 engine.
Mm-hmm.
But there are things out there unique, and I was hoping they would share some of that, especially when the image of it looks like how it does. It's like, okay, everybody's just going to instantly expect it. So give me, especially when it starts out with Ricky saying, I'm really excited how this thing has its own unique identity. Well, you better explain unique.
Yeah, I was going to.
It
What year? What model 250 is that? Is that the last generation?
So it looks physically more like the current KTM 250 motor, the one that just came out 2 years ago. But as far as I'm told, the bore and stroke on it is more like the one from 2 years ago, before they updated and went 3 millimeters larger on the bore, which if that is true, I'm a fan of that. The power character and balance is better on the outgoing engine than the new one. I don't think it has as good torque character. So if that's true, I'm a fan of that. And a lot explains it. Like they didn't show too much in the videos, but Dudley, I feel so bad if it's Crayford. He was at KTM for years in charge of the engine department. They hired him. They basically got him to come out of retirement. He was going to be done. Like him and Dave both joked they kind of got brought out of retirement for this project. So with that information being so close to the outgoing KTM engine, that's what Dudley, as his nickname has been working on for 12 years. Like great information. It makes me really think from a race team standpoint, if that's true, I don't see any reason why they won't be competitive out of the gate.
I was surprised by how they designed that motor. That valve cover looks like it's designed for like a KTM, which have a spine over the top of the motor so you can pull the valve cover off, but yet theirs has like a frame on the outside. So it wasn't like they didn't do any of their design because of their frame. It's like they just straight up wanted to copy a known good motor.
Spine outside. So you're saying because even though they have a backbone frame, the fact that they did their engine mounts to the outside of the engine, not to the back of the center, like an old Ford.
Yeah.
Well, if you look, Kate, same thing. They've all just decided you have better energy transfer and feel in the frame to do engine mounts from the outside, even on a single backbone frame.
Got you.
Having them in the back, there's like a lot of energy right around the shock tower area when you do that.
What about? So Scotty, you probably won't know this, but I went to Triumph.
Thanks.
We're talking about the marketing campaign, or that's what I'm kind of bringing up. So I went to Triumph's Instagram today, and they have a couple accounts. They have official Triumph, official Triumph. They have at Triumph America, and like you can't really. There's not really even that much moto stuff there. I feel like maybe they need their own moto Instagram. I just don't feel like there's not the marketing campaign is very weak. And Emma, you know more information about this, and some of it you can't talk about, but do they just not have a lot of information, or do they not want to share it yet?
As far as I'm aware, it's always been planned to be this long rollout. I think, okay, so look at it, it's complete 180 of Stark. Stark showed us the earliest prototype that existed of the bike that moved, and that had to wait 1.5 years to 2 years to get us anything. And people bitched endlessly about that and ragged on the company and questioned if it was real. I think Triumph went to the absolute opposite end of the spectrum, is they didn't want to show anything half-baked during development. Like, they wanted to show you complete product. And even though we're getting this in trickle, the product's done. The riding video has already been shot and edited. It's coming out in 2 weeks of the complete bike. Like, we are there.
Okay.
I think you're basically, it's one of those things. I think you're screwed if you do, screwed if you do, screwed if you don't, because Stark went their direction. Some people liked it and they got shit on by a bunch of people for doing it. And now the exact opposite with Triumph. They went the absolute opposite direction of their unveiling, and people are still mad about it. Basically, you just can't satisfy people these days.
That is true.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that they have an uphill battle. Everybody who's come into the sport, Cannondale or like even Aprilia, went way left with their V-twin motor and all this kind of stuff. It's been an uphill battle because people are how do you say it? They're not open to change, I guess you'd say.
They're conditioned to what they know.
We know the manufacturer. When KTM first came in, everybody hated them. I worked at a shop that sold KTMs, and they were, when I say first came in, like back in the day when they had the 520s and when they were really trying to come up, and people get ingrained to what they like, and then they have an uphill battle coming into the sport.
More people are excited about this though or curious at the very least than probably KTM in the early days. There's a little more hype than that because of social media and Ricky Carmichael being involved.
Well, I think still different because KTM had existed forever. I mean, made a push this. I think to his point, yes, there's the failures of the Cannondale project, of the Aprilia project. There is going to be a lot of naysayers anytime somebody truly tries to come into the dirt bike market new. And you can't compare the Gas or Husky thing, because all it was KTM rebranding a project. And KTM went through their path again that was much longer. It basically, if you look back on it, kind of feels like even you look at the just talking about dirt bike in general, the Alta thing ended up going. So it's kind of like, when was the last time a brand introduced themselves in a moto? Not KTM where they had to reinvent themselves, but literally a brand introduced them in a moto in the last 30 or 40 years, and it's gone well.
Right.
Very.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's an uphill battle for them to come in, and they have to be really ready to lose money racing. And that's really what it boils down to.
I hope overall it's not a failure. We need this. I think it's going to be good. It's going to be good to have another team and another OEM. Why are you laughing?
Chasing the.
Oh, okay.
Well, the thing I was going to ask ML is,
how old is? Never mind.
What is is this just a basic Triumph wanting to extend their product line and just have this in the market, or are they trying to come out as, hey, we're going to make something superior, or we're going to try to make something more affordable? Like, how are they positioning themselves to the consumer? And then that's going to really show, whether or not how the success is going to be defined.
So I've heard a similar path here for Ducati and Triumph, but Triumph's is deeper. I believe both brands have looked at it similarly from the point of, hey, we sell road motorcycles. How do we get people involved with our brands at an earlier age and identify with us? Okay, most people eventually, a good amount of people that transfer to street bikes later in life, or in the case of like Triumph and what Ducati have, adventure bikes, they start on motocross. And everybody's kind of seeing this all of a sudden resurgence a little bit with thanks to the Stasics and whether you hate them or not, Surons and things like that. Like, okay, We have a younger generation getting involved in two wheels again, which is good. There's a better chance to convert them into motocross and then, then on road and maybe adventure people throughout their lifetime. So I think both Triumph and Ducati are trying to capitalize on that by getting involved in the off-road market, getting out there in front of a wider audience. However, we'll see. Ducati's project is still much earlier. I mean, Triumph definitely has aspirations and goals, not just to be in the market. Like, they want to be very competitive. And I think, if anything, comparing them and Beta is interesting. You have Beta, who's been making off-road bikes for a long time, and they're starting to dabble in motocross and supercross. Like, they're hiring some decent people, but they're kind of tiptoeing into it, where Triumph has really put themselves in the position of, we have to pull this off or, failure, because of the money they put in, the quality of bike they're trying to build and they're claiming to build, and then all the people they've brought in. Like, on one hand, yeah, they've hired all the right people to success, but at the same time, it's a lot of pressure on the project, you got to think, because if they flop, if they do, and I don't think they will, but if they did, you would have to start it would make a really weird story of, like, how did it get to this point, considering everyone that's involved. Like, they've hired some of the best worldwide to make this project happen. And again, really, or Cannondale, they aren't trying to reinvent the wheel.
Well, what is success? I hate to butt over you, but you said if they fail, what is success?
Yeah,
is it staying in the market and just selling bikes, or do they need to be actually competitive?
I think it's totally two different ways, but I think I think they have to see success racing they'll get sales, but I'm sure to hit the sale figures they want, look at like KTM's path, I think they have to be pretty competitive in the racing marketplace.
I think so.
I think they have to win races. I don't know necessarily, like, of course they're going to win championships. I don't know. I don't think, by example, I don't think it would be considered a failure if they don't win a championship for 5 or 6 years. But if they're winning races and they're in the conversation and they're in title hunts, I still think that's pretty big. Again, you could say, oh, well, KTM had to win titles in Supercross to get real market share. But I kind of look at it differently, where KTM was around for so long. I feel like they really had to beat this predisposition to their brand, where I think Triumph will be looked upon more positively if they come in literally brand new and in the first year or two are winning. Even if they're not winning titles, I think instantly Triumph is looked at better than KTM was 15 years ago, when they've been trying forever and couldn't pull it off.
Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just cut you off. Yeah.
Okay. Let's shift gears for a minute. I want to first thank our other presenting sponsor, Racetech. Guys, if you're out there riding a lot, you're at the track, weekend warriors, racing a lot, whatever, get your suspension tuned up, get your suspension fluids changed. Check out racetech.com. Find your local service center. Go get some heavier springs. Stiffen your bike up, make some adjustments, get some gold valves. Racetech gold valves provide a plush feel with drastically improved bottoming resistance and increased traction. All Racetech products are 100% guaranteed and made in the USA, and there are Racetech service centers all over the country. Just go to racetech.com, find your local service center, go meet your tech. He'll probably be at your local track, get you set up, and you'll love it. I have another question before we get to Seth Hammaker here in a few minutes. I was thinking about this because here shortly I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling. Michael's sending me all over the country, going to different races. I'm going to get to go to Club MX soon, and it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. So I started thinking, like, what
you would get more than one day at Club MX?
I'm just going to go ahead and mute Michael right now. Disconnected. He's gone. Okay, sorry. Thank you, caller. But I was thinking, like, if you guys had basically an unlimited budget and 2 weeks off, what would your ultimate moto vacation be? What would you ride? Where would you go? You got 2 weeks to do it, Scotty. You go first. Did you think?
No, I don't want to go first.
Okay, great.
TJ,
y'all don't want. Well, yeah, TJ's going to take a while, but ML will too.
Give it ML first.
ML, what would your 2 week dream moto vacation be?
Crap.
If nobody's okay,
I'm ready.
This is something I want to accomplish in the next 2 years. It's not on a motocross bike. It would be on a dual sport.
Yeah, just two wheels.
I want to ride from the top of Alaska to the Mexico border. I want to ride the length of the U.S. West Coast. I want to ride all the way through Alaska into Canada.
Like from Prudhoe Bay or just from Alaska?
Yeah, Prudhoe, basically the farthest north highway. Yes, I want to do the full length in the summer, drop into Canada, get on the coast, and I want to run as much of the coast as you can, Washington, Oregon, and through Cali. I've rode the whole coast of California on a motorcycle before, but I want to do the whole thing all the way through Prudhoe Bay. I think that's the farthest north you can get.
Yes.
I got to look at that again.
It is.
What I'm used to, because I live only like an hour from the Mexico border in SoCal, so right down to the border, right down to the beachhead where the fence goes out in the water.
Like you're talking about all the way going to like down the peninsula or down the land side.
No, I would stop at Mexico border, like right
okay.
at the fence.
Gotcha.
Down on the coast part of it. I wouldn't go. I rode down Baja, but no, my thing is, even though you have to go through Canada part, it's just the U.S. thing. I want to do the full length of the West U.S.
Okay, I like that.
I like that.
Before we proceed, I want our listeners to get involved with this. So, MotoXpodShow@gmail.com. Love to get your thoughts. What would you guys do? 2 weeks, unlimited budget. Let us know. We'll talk about it. We'll read your emails next week.
And whoever has the best one, we should maybe hook them up with something.
Yeah, we'll get them a pair of Lucid
Yeah, we'll
X-Brand
pay
goggles.
for the trip.
All right.
Whoa.
TJ is paying for the trip.
I just want no.
Vital can't.
No.
We're not doing that because if Vital's paying for anybody to go anywhere, there's other places I want to go.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry, listeners.
Wow, selfish.
Yeah, but we'll pick a favorite, and I will get them a pair of X-Brand Lucid goggles.
That's awesome.
Go ahead, TJ.
All right, real quick. So I'll go through this real quick. Monday, go to Southwick.
Oh, we're doing day by day.
Oh yeah, actually, you said 2 weeks. Monday, you go to Southwick. Tuesday,
there's a private jet involved in this.
Are we starting at Southwick?
You start at Southwick. You start at Southwick.
But you don't need 8 hours, 10 hours to get there.
No, you start at Southwick.
Okay, we're starting at Southwick.
Monday is Southwick. Tuesday, Unadilla. Wednesday, you're going to travel and rest, and you're going down to Ironman.
This feels like troll training.
You're going to ride Thursday at Ironman.
Okay.
And then you're going on Fridays, you're going to travel, and your rest day, you're driving to Millville for Saturday.
Okay,
right?
so this is all moto so far.
This is all, hold on.
Okay,
and then you're
listening.
traveling down from Millville to Sundays, travel and rest.
Yeah.
And then you're going to Thunder Valley.
Okay.
And then Tuesday, you're riding trails in Colorado. Wednesday, you're riding more trails. So it could be like a whole 2-day trip of Colorado trails. Thursday is your travel and rest day, and you're finishing out the 2 weeks at Moab.
Do you have like a particular bike or bikes you'd want to
Just
have?
my dirt bike. I
Just
don't
whatever
care.
you
Just
got.
whatever I got. Just
Okay.
dirt bike.
Didn't think about that. Just but
it's just a dirt
detail
bike.
of all the where he wants to go.
All right.
Because it's going to be a moto bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're going to those moto places.
Scotty, we got about 8 minutes before we get Seth on and let ML go. So if you got time, you can do yours.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully I can fit it in 8 minutes. I don't know if I can or not, but
I don't know if that was supposed to be a joke or what, but go ahead.
yeah. Okay. So I would.
More hate emails coming
Some of
ML's way.
some of the bucket list places that I'd like to go is definitely Millville. I want to go to Magoria, however you want to call it.
Majora.
Majora.
Oh, Majora.
Okay.
See, I said it wrong too.
Ernay. I want to go.
You're just naming off places. You have no
This guy wants to ride
schedule.
hardtack hell crap.
Yeah, but and also you have no
See,
schedule. This
This
is
is my. I didn't
This
talk
is
to
his
the y'all
dream,
thing.
damn it.
How are you going to do this in 2 weeks? You have to plan it out.
No,
You're fine, Scotty. I don't even care.
Limited budget.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
PJs.
Yeah, you're on the Concorde.
Is
You're
it my
good.
turn or is it your turn or his turn?
It's still your
or
turn.
Okay.
I don't know why they're so rude to you, man. I'm sorry.
I didn't just say a word during anybody else's. Just over here on the chat, just doing
Well,
the job.
you can't be a part of the conversation. Let's see how you are.
Okay, we're down to 7 minutes.
there went half my time. So those are some of the bucket list places that I would like to go. But
Yeah.
I think in this scenario for this 2 week thing, what I would like to do is like I want to ride these.
Wait a minute. He just took 2 minutes to tell us all these places he wanted to go. It has nothing to do with his dream vacation.
And he's eating
I don't
into
have
your
to
time
answer.
to tell about your dream
I don't-
vacation.
yeah,
I don't
my
have to
story.
answer.
Who cares? Nobody cares about me.
I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say that I would want to ride these tracks that I don't know that exist. Like these, everybody knows that Lakewood and Millville and Glen Helen and Unadilla and all those tracks exist because we see them on the national circuit and stuff. I want to find these places that don't get as much coverage, that are just really cool places to ride, or maybe dunes or woods or stuff.
Yeah.
I'd probably hire somebody that knows all these different places, or maybe even if it's regional, and then I'd plan my trip that way.
Okay. All right. Very exciting. Very
No
exciting.
plan.
No game plan. That's all right. I mean, I just,
Hey, at least he didn't have a lot of time. You put him on the spot, right?
I mean, no, I only texted him like 8 hours ago to think about this. So,
Okay, your
good
turn.
job, Scotty.
Yeah, your turn.
Yeah, I got time, I guess. My idea, similar to both of you guys kind of wanting to do some dual sport type stuff. I wanted to go, I just picked Colorado, somewhere in the mountains. I'd like to ride like the T7 that I've seen Bradshaw posting about. That bike looks cool, or something like it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't even know what that'd be called. ML, is that like a rally style bike or?
Yeah, it's an adventure bike. It's based off one.
a big adventure bike, and do something.
Bradshaw has a couple of them. Want to
Yeah,
crash one?
I know. Actually, his
You
wife.
want to crash one?
Oh yeah, funny. What?
He really skimmed right over it. He just, there's so much PTSD, he ignores it at this point.
No, I was just because his wife Angela texted me a couple weeks ago. And she's like, "Hey, Damon's got a couple of these bikes. He's doing some rides in August. You should
go crash
call him.
one."
You should call him and come up and ride." And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be great, but I'm got too much going on in August." So that was actually something that there might have been. But
Take
yeah,
time for this. I'd like to see how it goes.
so I would like to go to Colorado and ride for a
Yeah.
few days on something like that, and then I'd also put ride Redbud.
Yeah.
So it'd be a little bit of travel,
Mhm.
and then jump on a plane and go to Australia and ride in Australia or New Zealand, somewhere like that, and just hook up with some buddies and do some moto. Or it does nothing specific, but I think those. I'd spend my 2 weeks wanting to do that.
Well, Kathy and I spent a week in the Colorado mountains in the Bronco, and it was amazing. And there were some guys out there riding, and I just thought it would be like, I'm with you, like riding a dirt bike through some of those, like they're kind of like rock crawling trails, or the off-road trails or whatever.
Uh-huh.
It would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So yeah,
And
guys.
a lot less scary.
MotoXPodShow@gmail.com. Send us your emails. Love to hear your stories about where you want to go. And don't forget, you can also send us questions, comments. You can send us your procs, highs, and lows. You want to say anything, TJ, while he's on the phone?
Yeah, I mean, he's wrong, but okay.
Or your 60 picks for each race.
That's right.
This week we have Budds Creek coming up. Then we have Ironman, so you can send us your picks all at MotoXPodShow@gmail.com. And you can get involved with our fantasy league on PulpMX Fantasy. Right now, TD248 is leading. I don't like that guy. He sucks. We're going to kick him out. I'd have to kick out about 90% of the people playing so that I could even probably get in like the top 10.
I know. I'm so glad that this is it. I'm so looking forward to retirement.
I was at Swan this weekend, and I made my picks as I always do Thursday night, and I just it was 45 minutes to race time, and I saw my phone, and I went, you know what? I don't even care how people qualified. I'm just going with what I ran. Didn't realize McElrath wasn't racing.
Yeah.
Didn't really care. I've
Didn't
given
care.
up. I've given up.
I had 37 points the first moto.
You say you've given up. Clearly, you can't even bother to be looked at who is actually racing and not racing.
I literally looked at my phone and had plenty of time, and I said, yeah, I'm just going to sit here.
I actually tried.
And I was doing
had
nothing. I was sitting in a chair.
37 points. 37 points the first moto. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. I hope that it ends. I hope that the fantasy stuff doesn't go into the whatever.
SMX?
The SMX.
Yeah, it will.
Oh,
There'll be something for it.
Hey, you know who was racing? Actually was racing that you could pick?
Who?
First guest of the night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could have. I think Seth might have actually been on my team. I don't even remember anymore.
I don't. Yeah.
I was just so over it. It was like, it doesn't matter if I look and I change it, it's still going to be terrible. It does not matter. So I give up.
Y'all are still gonna play next year. Though.
I'm pretty sure I had Hayden. Yeah, I don't even know. It was bad. I give up.
I'm
just gonna keep throwing my money at Steve. I might as well just here's $60 or whatever.
Yeah. I'm not even paying. I'm not playing. I'm gonna step away.
I won't do that. It's so much fun. So much fun, ML.
I'm missing the fun part based on what I've just heard.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we got to get Seth on. We're going to let you go and get back to whatever you're doing. And are you going to In-N-Out? Tell me you're not going to In-N-Out.
That sounds good.
I should go there.
Yeah, you're a dick.
Great. Thanks for the heads up.
Del Taco's better.
Oh, you're an idiot.
Yeah, in case you didn't know.
Del
though.
Taco's great, but it's not better than In-N-Out. All right, we'll let you go. ML, thanks for your time, man.
No problem. Thanks for
All
having
right, talk to you soon.
Later,
See
man.
ya. All right, thanks to Michael Lindsay for coming on. We're about to get Craig DeLong on the phone here in just a minute. While I'm working on that, we sort of made a joke earlier about Scotty crying. He did not cry, everybody. We're not.
Not yet.
We haven't made him cry yet.
I'm not suicidal.
We
it's okay.
will, once we have that success, the MotoXpod show will be over. Once we make him cry, we'll be
done.
We'll hit our goal. And we'll be done.
That's right.
But I made the joke of like Hayden Deegan, and that's like, I don't find that. I want to talk to you about his emotions. When the bike blew up, I mean, his passion, his emotion, I liked it. Is there an issue?
No.
Okay. I like the emotion. I like that he was feeling it, you know, in the feels, that it meant so much to him that his emotions were out in the open. I want to hear what you guys think about that. What you think having those emotions and those passions, if those serve him well as he gets more into his career.
He's young.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand that, like, being able to control your emotions and you're in the heat of the moment. It doesn't stop us and anybody from making jokes about it. He is definitely, like, he was all in on this. I think the thing that made everybody, like, I guess say, and even made me make jokes about it is Hunter gave away 2 finishes, like completely DNF 2 motos because of a bike failure and one from a crash. So it was like, oh, I almost had a championship, and it was like, because somebody else DNF'd.
Yeah, I don't look at it that way,
But in
though.
the moment, I understand the emotion. Now, I don't the crying part. I don't know about that. But as far as being upset,
Dude, I cry when I watch TikTok, man. I think I didn't probably cry in that situation too.
well, what I mean is like, I understand the throwing of the helmet, the getting mad, like that's a moto thing. You end up, like I back in the day, I've said some terrible things to my wife after a moto, and she just comes up being nice. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just, that's the love of my life. So I mean, I get the it wasn't that terrible, but you know what I mean? Just like using.
Yeah, I mean, the emotions come out, and they're usually, a lot of times they're negative emotions. I don't feel like, the throwing the helmet, Scotty. I mean, we've all been there.
Yeah.
It is a bad look, but we've all done it. Like, I have no issues with the fact that he's done it. It just, it's unfortunate it was caught on camera, because then people are going to be upset and say stuff. But the crying, man, I'm like, dude, no, it's not him being a baby. It's him being so, like, he had a second chance because of what happened to Hunter.
If he'd have walked, sorry, go ahead.
And it just didn't work out. But he was really, like, there was a possibility until that happened.
If he'd have walked away without emotion, everybody would have said, look, Deegan doesn't even care.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see, the only clip I saw that he looked just kind of like defeated. I didn't really like see him like bawling, crying. Was there more?
There's a couple different angles from some different places that it's posted, and he puts his hands in his, kind of his head in his hands.
Yeah, I think it was just more of just a defeated kind of thing. Just like, hey, that opportunity that he had just kind of got ripped away from him. And it happens like, I look, the example.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
no, you're not.
Maybe, okay, you're right, I'm not. Maybe he didn't actually cry. I never actually saw him like crying, but he was very emotional over it. And I think I see the positive in that he cares and like he's passionate about it, which is fine.
The only example that I like to bring up is one of the moments that I thought was the most character I've ever seen in any sporting thing was several years ago when Dungey had that. He was winning by like 30 seconds at Freestone. It was like a lap to go. He ran out of gas. And he pushed his bike all the way back to the pits. He didn't. He wasn't cussing. He wasn't throwing his helmet. He pushed the mechanic tried to take him, and he's like, nope, this is. Right. He's stuck with it. I wish there was more. I think that more character like that.
But we got our guest on the line. We can get back to this. Which our guest. I'd like to ask what if he's ever had to push a bike. But first up, brought to you by WUSA. W is your source for all. You know what? I got a problem.
Yeah, we know.
You guys keep talking for a second.
Wasn't Dungey on a 450?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he was a little older. You know what I mean? A little more mature at that time.
Yeah, he was like, he was like 21.
But still, I
know.
Hayden's like 12.
Yeah. And plus, I don't want to be, it's Unadilla. I don't want to be pushing a bike up those hills. Freestone's pretty flat.
That's a good point. Yeah, you could push a bike anywhere you want to at Freestone.
Yeah, it's a freaking cow pasture. But I don't think, and I'm not trying to say that Hayden didn't have character. I just, I feel where he was at. I've had a bike issue being in 20th in the novice class, and then and then be upset about that.
Did you throw your helmet when your drain plug
I'm too
came
poor.
out?
Hey, let me interrupt you guys. We do have our first guest on the night. WUSA is your source for all things wheels. If you're looking for a complete set of wheels for your bike, we have something for every budget. If you want to use the same wheels used by Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, Malcolm Stewart, Christian Craig, Chad Reed, and Jeremy McGrath, just to name a few, visit WUSA.com. Use promo code MotoXpod to save. Tonight, WUSA brings us Pro Circuit Kawasaki's Seth Hammaker. What's up, Seth?
Oh, not too much. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. I almost said your name the wrong way. I'm so used to saying it the other way.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot of, it's a little bit of confusion, but yeah. Hammaker. It's pretty, when you say it like that, it makes sense, but
yeah,
a lot of different ways to pronounce it. Yeah. So.
Well, listen, man, you've been back for a few rounds, coming back off the wrist injury that kept you out of all of Supercross. You've had some good rides, and then you've had a few crashes here and there. But how do you feel about the return so far? Because you're riding really, really well. You've been running up front. The speed's obviously there. It's just still trying to put it all together. It seems like with getting back into race shape.
Yeah, I think you just touched on it there. Just putting every piece together, to finish up in that top 5 and top 3, because those guys are, the top 7. Most of those guys have at least won motos this year, so. You need to be on your A game to finish out the last part of the moto, which that's what I'm kind of working on now. Is I know my speed's there, but it's just that last 10 plus 2 laps is where those guys really excel. And I think having the mindset of believing in yourself and keeping focus for that last part of the moto is kind of what I've been struggling with, but it's getting better. This weekend until my crash, the first moto was going really good. And then ended up going down with like 4 to go. But I don't know. I've been happy with how I've been, with how I came back. Obviously the few mistakes, it's frustrating, but trying to learn from every mistake and, take the positives from every weekend.
Yeah, you talked about, you just said, you've been happy with the speed but then obviously the crashes kind of probably bummed you out a little bit, but I'm sure you can see the positive, as you just said, and realize like you probably weren't expecting to come back and win right away anyway. It's just trying to get back into that race pace, which is very difficult to do when you've been off so long. And you've had to do this almost every year of your career, it feels like. It
does feel like that. And that's the tough part, to never be able to build, through seasons. It's always tough to jump in mid-season after injuries, and that's a tough part, but it teaches me a lot. And I feel like, I'm going to keep striving to be better each weekend and try to stay healthy. It's easier said than done, but I'm trying my hardest every time I'm out on the track. And, but yeah, definitely keep it off the ground and just make the races. And like you said, it's hard to jump in right away and win. So I think, top 5s and moto podiums, overall podiums is where my, goals are at for the last 2. We only have 2 left, but I think that's where my head's at, and I'm capable of it. It's just putting it all together. So.
Yeah, it's interesting, Seth, that the way we all talked about that, because that's kind of how I was thinking about it when on my way over here was, you've kind of been in the learning stage or the recovery stage of your career so far, whether it's, I'm trying to, get the best results just to kind of gain experience. But do you feel like going into this 24 season that the narrative is going to be more of like, all right, now it's kind of time. I know you have one more year left on your deal with Mitch. It's kind of time to get those wins and be a championship contender. Do you feel that that's going to be your narrative, or are you still trying to look to just kind of build on your results?
No, I believe that it's time, especially Supercross. I feel like it's time for me. It's been a bummer I haven't raced Supercross in almost 2 years, but I feel like that is, it's time to go out there and compete for a championship. And, it'll be my 4th year. So, as a pro coming up. So, even though I haven't done that many races, but I think, even if other people don't, believe that or whatever, I feel like that's where my head's at. And I think it's good coming under the radar a little bit and not having everyone talk about all this guy's in it for the championship. But yeah, I know my head's that's where my head's at for sure.
Yeah, when you
I was just saying I'm glad to hear that he's thinking like that, because I think he can be that guy.
When you look at the riders in the 250 class, there's a lot of guys in that same boat as you. I mean, there's you got Jalik Swole and Styles and guys that They
Max
really just Max Volan just have not had any opportunity to show what you can do through a whole season. And and there's those keyboard warriors or people that are like, well, do they really deserve a ride or they're just not putting out. But dude, this sport is so freaking gnarly. It's the smallest mistake with the biggest consequences. And then, you're just starting over. And a lot of the groups, a lot of the kids, I call kids in the 250 class, just aren't getting a chance to put a full season and show what they can do or even learn. I mean, it's a learning process.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. And it's like you just said, the sport is so gnarly, the highs and lows of it. But, the one thing that, I respect every competitor out there because I know how hard it really is. And, props to whoever is getting it done, cause it's a tall task to handle, so it's cool. And like you said, being injured, it's hard to learn. And then you almost kind of, when you're off when you're off racing for so long, you kind of forget a little bit and then you come back in and it's like I remember my first race this year at Redbud, I was just like, it was my first race since last year at Ironman Outdoors. And I was like, so even at the rig, like under the semi, I was like so off. I just felt out of my, out of the ordinary there, but it's gotten better. So, but it's just crazy how that stuff, not even the riding. I feel like the riding is that's what I've done all my life. So that kind of comes back easy, but it's just everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. How is that you're coming in, you're getting healthy, you're, riding, training, you're feeling good. And then to step into a series right in the middle where everybody is like a race pace right off the bat. I mean, is that a huge thing for you? And we've seen guys like Kennard who could come in and just, throw it down right off, right
Be at
after
100% almost.
Yeah. So how are you about that?
Yeah, it's tough because that's where you want to be able to jump in right away and like compete for the podium and the wins and whatnot. That's obviously where I think as a racer, that's where I'm always at, and that's what I want to do my best and get good results. But you gotta keep yourself in check, because it's not easy to do. There's a very few guys that can just jump in and do that. So I think you got to keep it in check, and I think that's if you can do that, for some guys they can pull it off, but it's also trying to maintain being healthy and not making those dumb mistakes or, just things that slip up that can put you on the ground. And next thing you know, you're out for again. So that's, it's also mental too, like coming off injuries. It's when you have been hurt a lot, you can't think about it, but it's definitely, you don't want to get hurt again and then be like, he's out again. So it's a tough thing, but regardless, I'm out there trying to do my best, and everybody is. So
yeah, that mental thing you just touched on, and kind of goes with what TJ just said, where if you tell yourself I have to come out and be 95, 100% right away, you're probably going to fail. But if you tell yourself, look, I got to go out, I got to be healthy, I got to get back into race pace. If you can tell you, as a racer, you want to go out and win, you want to compete. But if you can tell yourself, I gotta step into this a little bit, and you can keep that mental state, you're going to be a lot better off than just pinning it and trying to hold on and hope for the best.
Yep, I agree with that 100%. It's you definitely got to keep yourself, within, do what you need to do. What's best for you. So yeah.
The wrist injury took longer to heal. You and I talked a couple months ago for a Vital MX interview, and you talked about how it took longer to heal, and you've been riding for a little bit, but now that you're racing, and I think you've done 5 races?
5.
Yep. How is the wrist? Is it holding up? I think you're still in the All Sport Dynamics brace, but how does it feel at the end of two motos?
It honestly feels good. It definitely gets, sore and stiff after a race day. Mm-hmm. I did notice, like say Washougal, it was a lot more sore just because when the bumps don't give as much, say as like a Millville, with that softer soil, it aggravates it a little bit more. It gets a little bit more sore, but overall, it's been pretty solid considering how long it took to get back, and the wrist it's a tough one.
Yeah. So just real quick, what did you do to your wrist exactly? It was like do you break the? You
don't read Vital MX clearly.
I did not read it. No.
Dick.
I mean, maybe have other people here who maybe didn't read it too.
Well, they should.
I listen to you enough. I don't need to read what you write.
It's not about me. It's about Seth.
I broke my radius and ulna at the wrist, and then I also broke my scaphoid with that little bone in my wrist, and that's what actually took the longest to heal. They said, if it would have just been the radius and ulna, it would have been about 2 months, but ended up being 4, which they said originally 3 for the scaphoid, but it ended up being longer than that. And that bone, they said, just doesn't get much blood flow.
Exactly. I got both of mine have been broken.
Nobody cares, TJ.
Oh yeah.
TJ, like, are you a doctor? Like,
well, I mean, I've gone through that. I know
he was out, dude. Like, he wasn't racing. That's all that matters.
Welcome to the show, Seth.
Go ahead, Scotty.
Oh no, so I wanted to ask about this. We talked a little bit about the field this year, and man, I feel like it's one of the kind of underrated, most stacked classes that we've seen. To the ride that you guys have to do, like even this week, you kind of fell back a little bit at the end of the second moto, but even to get like a 7th in this class is like you're riding like as hard as you can. Like how hard is it to keep yourself in that grind and that build mode, and that you're trying to put in the laps when you feel like you're putting in a podium effort and you're sitting there battling with those guys for 6th, 7th, 8th.
Yeah, that's a great question, because that's how it feels. Sometimes you're like, man, I'm ripping. You feel really good, and you're in 8th. You're like, man, this feels like I should be on the top 3 or something. But I think respect to all the guys out there. They're going really fast, and even if you do get a bad start or go down, you're passing really good guys the entire way through. So it's not easy to come through. But I think it's just staying with yourself and honestly trying to gain more and more experience and better race pace, as you get more races in. And I think that's going to lead to putting yourself up in better positions off the start and staying up there, little by little. And it's, I think, kind of what I touched on too, is the last, like around 10 minutes of the race is when those guys really can excel. When you see those guys putting on charges at the end, that's really, really hard to do. But that's what makes them good. And that's something that, I'm looking to keep improving on.
Do you feel like that last 10 minutes or last 10% of the race is conditioning, or is it mentally overcoming just the brutality of what you guys are going through, which I guess is still somewhat conditioning, but mental conditioning or physical conditioning?
I think it's more mental, honestly, because everyone gets tired, right? I feel like, but it's just mentally not worrying about the guys around you and doing what you need to do and focusing on your technique, especially at the end when you're a little bit fatigued. Your technique is it's going to help you, and kind of keep you off the ground when you're a little bit fatigued too. So
sure.
I think, just be mentally strong, and get you through. Everyone's suffering out there. It's not easy for anybody. So got to remember that.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at Southwick, and it was really hard for me because it was so hot. So yeah, I mean, it's not easy for anybody, Seth, even the media.
Southwick was brutal this year.
Yeah, so I was just teasing, but go ahead.
So Seth, I don't know if you're going to be close enough to get where you're at in the SMX points or anything.
I got it right
like
here. He's 37 points out of 20th. Most of the guys between him and 20th aren't racing right now, so I think he's going to be okay. So
you and Fortner are kind of doing the same thing. So
I was going to ask him that too.
So if I have like four pretty good motos, I should be okay. Because like you said, I think a lot of the guys in front of me aren't racing right now, at least until like 19th or 20th, like just inside.
Yeah, I think like Derek Kelly's still in, and maybe Drake. So there was a couple, but then the guy like in 19th, I think was Enzo. He's not racing, so those guys are going to be dropping off. So, I think you're going to be okay as long as you just keep it on 2 wheels, man.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. I was bummed about that too this weekend when I crashed in the first mile. I was like, man, those were solid points. But, it is what it is. Gaining back. So. Yeah,
so the question I wanted to ask off of that is if that wasn't the case, that you and like Austin weren't fighting for those SMX points, would there have been a conversation about maybe doing some 450 rides, since obviously the 250 class has been stacked and the 450 class has been kind of depleted? Do you think that you would have seen yourself do some 450 rounds if it hadn't have been for the SMX points?
I don't think for me personally, just because I think not that it would be a bad idea. I just think that getting the experience, no matter what the field looks like or how deep it is, I think just for the future right now, I'll be in the 250 class, for
I got you.
at least 2 more years or whatever. So I feel like that's kind of getting that experience. But at the same time, I never really raced the 450. I've ridden one like literally one time. So that's something that down the road, definitely I'm going to need to practice on and, get used to, because that's where I ultimately want to end up being successful at. Yeah.
So what's the thought process if you, let's say you have a bad moto, something happens and you are just a few points out and you have to go to the LCQs every time for these SMX rounds? Is that like, are you lining up for that? Or is it like, I just don't want to.
It's a lot of money, dude. I'm lining up.
All right. That's a Matt. I mean, is that the plan?
Yeah, for sure. We're lining up, if that's the case that I have to do. And, if something goes wrong and that's what I have to do, I'm just going to take it for what it is and show up my best,
Yeah.
in that moment, and, just kind of take it for what it is. And I don't even really know what the schedule is like for like the SMX stuff. Cause I had a question for that too. It's like, if you're in the LCQ,
Yeah.
and you make it, do you still get a chance to like throw down a time qualifying lap for a good gate pick, or do you automatically just get the last 2 gate picks? Cause that would kind of suck.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm actually not sure about that.
Yeah. That's something I haven't thought of. I mean,
Yeah.
Because at least if you're in the top 20, then you can get a chance at getting, say, a top 5, lap or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know. I've got a couple more questions for you before we let you go. When I talked to you last, you had not had a chance to really do any testing on the new 250. So I assume you just kind of relied on everybody else's settings, or what did you rely on once you got back on the bike? And then how drastically did you change it once you started getting comfortable?
Yeah, so I started on like my last year's outdoor setup.
Okay.
And then I rode that for a pretty long time. And then like some of the other guys had been testing a few things. So when I was getting closer to Redbud in the beginning, or when I was going to come back to racing, they introduced that stuff to me, and mainly just like suspension stuff, going stiffer than we were, especially when you ride tracks out here. It's not as deep. The bike doesn't suck down as much, so you tend to go softer for like the SoCal tracks, and that's hard to kind of get through your head here. It's like almost sacrifice a little bit of feeling and maybe the turning ability of the bike for the races, but know that when you get to the races, it's going to be a lot better. So that's been a big thing. And for the last few rounds, though, it hasn't been, minor changes here and there, but nothing too crazy.
So you're liking the new bike, though?
Yeah, loving it.
Good.
Yeah, Seth. So, one thing I've always respected about Mitch and the pro circuit team is that he gives guys the full time to really, through injuries, and he sticks with guys longer than maybe some other teams do. And I've always respected the fact that he gives guys more chances. I wanted to know how you thought about being a pro circuit rider, what that means to you, and do you feel like your story might be a little bit different if you'd been on another team coming out of amateurs and stuff?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Through, in the past and even now, with me, I've been through my fair share of injuries, and Mitch has been nothing but great to me. And, it's always nice to have people like that in your corner and like behind your back. 'Cause it's all, how the sport is. It's, not every team would be like that, or you would hope, but it's tough. So I think, I've gotten very lucky with that, and grateful for Mitch sticking behind me with, the stuff that I had go on. But I feel like I can really put in the results in the future when things do line up. So I think that I can provide for that.
Yeah, we're seeing that. I mean, just by the way you've been riding with this comeback, I mean, you're definitely running up front. You were, I think, second fastest qualifier, if I'm not mistaken, this last weekend. So, I mean, yeah, the speed's there. It's got to put it all together, get the conditioning down. But last question I have for you, and I just decided this week I'm going to ask like everybody for the next few weeks this question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
why their chick? I'm sure it's about their chick, right?
It's not about his chick. Okay. No. I'm trying to not be so creepy.
Okay, no creepy.
Okay? Yeah. Anyway,
Good luck.
why do we race?
Why do we race?
Yeah,
Dude,
why do we race?
Just for, I like the challenge of it. Like, for me, getting the opportunity to, see what I'm capable of. I love the challenge. I love the competition, and honestly, the adrenaline, just that alone, the gate drop, there's nothing like that to me. So I enjoy all that. Those are the big things for me, and just trying to, set some goals and achieving that and getting that feeling is like nothing else that I've ever felt. So that's, that's things that keeps me going. And even through the tough days, it's even after the first moto this weekend, I'm like, man, this sucks. And then it's, after the day, it's like driving back to the hotel. I'm like, man, I can't wait for Buds, another opportunity, to go out there and go for it again. So I think that's, keeps me going for sure. I love it.
Dig it, man. Dig it. All right. Hey, thanks for your time tonight. Oh, I thought you were motioning me for another question. Thanks for your time tonight, Seth. And yeah, I'll see you this weekend.
Sweet. Sounds good. Thank you guys. Have a good show.
You too. Thanks.
All right.
See ya. Seth Hammaker, brought to you by WUSA. Appreciate him jumping on tonight. Craig DeLong coming up in it. But yeah, when we were going to him, I made the mistake. I called Craig on accident. That's why I said I need a minute, because I called Craig and it wasn't Craig's time.
We would never would have known if.
No, I don't mind telling you. I mean, I screw up every week. At least
I'd like to get. Sorry, I thought you were.
Go ahead.
Done.
No,
I'd like to get Mitch on and talk to him. Like,
yeah, I would too.
Whenever, well, I'm just saying, like, as
Haven't
far
we
as
had him on?
No, I've never had Mitch on.
So
I've interviewed him at like races.
Yeah, I have too.
The thing I was thinking is, like, you see the Kawasaki's bike is getting better every weekend, right? But then, like, some races, it'll be better than, let's just use like the Honda or the Yamaha in this section. Like, I wonder, I'm sure they watch video afterwards, and like, but then I'm wondering if they watch videos like, okay, the Yamaha or the Honda was smoother through here or better traction here, so they adjust that, but then they lose something else. Like the Cowie seems like it's like they're constantly hunting, because each weekend, because I guess with my way my brain works, I watch the bikes, seeing how they're reacting to things, and it's almost like one weekend it'll do this better than the other bikes. They make some changes, it does something else better, but they're losing a little bit here. And I'd love to like have a time to talk to somebody, not just Mitch in particular.
I'll ask Mitch this weekend. I asked him about doing the show when we first started the show, and he basically gave me his email. Yeah. And when they give you your email, they're not interested basically. But I've talked to him more.
Is that the thing?
Yeah, because they'll give you, if they want to talk to you, they're going to give you a phone number.
Yeah.
So, but he seems to recognize me, at least know that I've been there before. So maybe I'll ask him this week, like, hey, could we get you to do the show? So yeah, I'll reach out. I'll try to get him on in the near future.
That'd be cool.
Okay, we got Craig DeLong coming on in about 10 minutes or so. So let's go to another one of these topics that I brought up earlier. Well, actually, let's talk about lappers for a minute. You guys, I assume you guys heard the responses from Chase and Jed on the lappers. I'm not in their position, clearly, right? I'm not winning championships. I'm not lapping people.
I would have gotten lapped in the 3 minutes in. So,
but I feel like you got to race around those guys, especially when you're lapping into guys that are points paying position. Those guys are like, F you. I don't care who you are. I'm battling. So hold your line. I think in general, the idea, like, hold your line.
Yes.
But if you're on a track like Unadilla, that's all slot car-ish, your line you're stuck in your line. But that's not even my point. I don't really give a shit. Race around them. You're better. Figure it out.
Me and Doc were watching the races this weekend and talking about it. And you could see, I know everybody was upset about it, Jet was too or whatever, but you could see Jet catch up to him and then take a different line and hardly lose any speed going. The only time that I saw him struggling with lappers is when a lapper would mess up in front of him and get in his way, kind of a deal.
And that sucks.
But we were watching Chase, and Chase would just run up on him, and run the line that they were running.
Yeah, that's on him.
And that's exactly what we were talking about. It was like, you know the speed difference that you have over these guys. Yes, but even when kids are little, you were told, hold your line, the fast guys will go around you.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm with you on that.
There were moments, Scotty, though, where you see some of those lappers that were in the top 15, and they're taking lines that are they're not staying out of the damn way. They're not holding their lines, but they're in their own race. Like, just pick two guys, whether it be, let's say, Ty Masterpool and Grant Harlan. If those guys are 13th and 12th and Jet and Chase come up on them, they don't give a shit. They are racing too. And we've heard, like in the past, Jason Anderson say, well, you know, the fans don't come to see you. Well, they don't give a shit about that either. They're racing.
Yeah.
You know, so does it suck if, let's take Grant Harlan and he cuts over to pass Seth Hammaker or Ty and gets in the way of Jet? Yeah, that sucks for Jet. That sucks. But you can't expect those guys to stop racing. You just can't.
Yeah.
You can't expect them to slow down and let you go by. They're racing. That's
And you can't always, and they get a blue flag. Oh,
yeah, no, you can go ahead. The blue
I
flag
didn't mean
just
to cut over him, but
doesn't work.
They get a blue flag, and they don't know if that rider is right there on their butt or what, you know. So go ahead, Scott. I didn't mean to cut over you.
It's okay.
You had two good questions. I mean, you had a guess.
Yeah,
say,
no,
Well,
it happens.
If he had read my vital
the fans
interview,
love me.
If he had read my vital interview, he would have known I already asked the Mitch Payton question. But that's okay.
What is it? The exact same thing that I asked?
It's pretty close, but
it was a good question.
But it was months ago, so that's fine.
See, look, I was trying to give him props.
Yeah,
and then look, you're cutting
I'm
him
trying
down
to tear
again.
him down. That's
Jesus.
I know the fans love me, the guests love me, everybody loves me except for the people that I do the freaking show with.
And ML.
Yeah,
we know you.
ML likes me because I rag on Darkside.
That's fair, probably.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
And what are your thoughts on lappers?
It's part of the sport. I mean, it's like saying, I want to play basketball, but I don't want to play basketball with the basketball anymore. I want to play with softball because I can hold it in my hand better or something. I don't know. It's like it's part of the sport. You just have to, you know, do they need to probably respect some of the flags and maybe a little better system of that? Yeah, that's so. But you can't really get mad, and especially like, you know, if it's not a track like Unadilla where, like you said, with the ruts, or that's part of that's just the world that we live in with motocross. I mean, there's such a there's such a array of differences in riding ability and bikes and, you know, what they're able to do that, you know, like, yeah, it sucks that a guy in 40th can't stay on the same lead lap as a guy in first, but that's just, you know, that's just the sport. That guy would do that same thing to a bunch of us if he rode with a gate of a 40 person gate with guys like us. So it's unfortunately it's just part of the sport, and you have to kind of deal with it and take, like you said, Chase running up on people. You're going to have to just take better lines and just not put yourself in that position.
I almost think they should do away with the blue flags. Fucking race around them, man.
Muppet in the chat said that the top 5 guys should be, or the people up front should be allowed to have horns, so you can honk at the
well, Derek Wedding, who's one of our local guys, used to be, I mean, actually raced for Mitch Payton way back in the day when it was PCP racing, back in the 70s. He used to race. I don't know if he did this at the pro level, like at the national level, but he had a cowbell on his, so people would hear him.
Didn't
Which, I don't think he'd
one
be
of our
allowed to do
local
that.
guys had a horn on his
bike.
Yeah,
he would, like, if I know he would ride behind me, and then, like, if you, like, miss a rut, he, like, honks at you. And he's like, God.
It's pretty funny.
It's hilarious, but it's definitely distracting. Like,
you should ride with music.
How far are we away from having, you know, not for the teams to be able to talk to the riders and tell them stuff, but how far are we just to just the race officials saying, hey, you know, Jet's 3 seconds behind you.
Yeah, we're not.
Why? They do it in NASCAR, they do it in F1, they do it in every other sport.
Have you ever tried to ride with the communications?
No.
You can't hear it. Like, I'm just saying.
I don't know if I agree with that because I can hear my music. So if it had the same system,
it's a difference when you're talking with somebody, like with earbuds in and stuff like that. Because me and somebody's ride with just like our cell phones on.
Yeah.
And when you're on the pit bikes, it's fine. But when you're on a big bike and you're on the gas, you can't.
Okay.
Hear it.
Well, then what about a little thing that you stick on the bar pad that lights up blue, like a blue, instead of the blue flag? Everybody
they're gonna look at that about as much as they look at the blue flags, probably.
Yeah,
the ideas are not bad, so I'm not shitting on your ideas. Okay, but I just don't think there's a great system no matter what, because these guys don't care. They're racing.
Yeah,
and I think to expect them to slow down and let you go by is that's where I have the problem. Like, yeah, they shouldn't cut over, but if you're battling, they don't care. You just kind of, I don't know. It's just something they're going to have to deal with, and I almost say get rid of the blue flags and let everybody race, and you figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm out like in practice and you're in a group of guys that you're better than, I don't expect them to be like, oh, here comes Jamie, I better move over. No, I freaking try to use what little racecraft I have and go, okay, I'm going to figure out how to pass this guy.
Yeah, the only time I see that it can be something you can get mad at is if somebody cuts over and like parks you in a corner.
Sure.
That's not that you're not racing with it. You're trying to lap and that but anyways.
Yeah, Scotty, anything else?
No.
What are we laughing at? What's going on in chat?
Oh, they're busted his balls in the chat too because everybody loves him.
They're busting Scotty's
Yeah,
balls?
Yes.
this guy said that he liked me until I made the basketball analogy.
Yeah, it was really a bad analogy.
Oh yeah, not my best.
It wasn't good.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but I knew what you were trying to say.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
Because you don't like sports.
Yeah.
Okay, I think our next guest is on the line. Guts Racing. Andy Gregg and the Guts Racing crew have been providing the best seats and foam in the industry for years. For 2023, they've added Kawasaki to their complete seat lineup as well as the color teal to the gripper material options available. Also new for 2023 are options for your e-bike. They have complete seats for your Talaria and Super 73 and covers for the Segway and Suron. And they have options for the Honda, KTM, and Husqvarna electric bikes. Visit gutsracing.com. Get you a gripper seat cover. I'm about to put mine on the Kawasaki probably after the show. Tonight, Guts Racing brings us first. He's tied for first place in GNCC. Rockstar Huskies, Craig DeLong. What's up, Craig?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Glad to talk to you. We don't get a lot of off-road guys on here, but we've been trying to get some more. And, yeah, dude, you're tied for first with 3 to go. I mean, what are we going to do to win this thing?
Another couple wins, that would help for sure.
Yes. The tracks coming up or the rounds coming up, how favorable are they for you?
I'd say they suit me pretty well. I'm from Pennsylvania, so I'm used to like the rocky conditions that are kind of going to be up at the last two of the 3, and then the last one's at Ironman. So it's pretty much a carbon copy of what you see out on the moto track, except for the jumps.
Yeah, big hills. That I raced that one. Well, I rode that one last year. I don't know if I raced it. I tried to ride it, didn't quite finish, but Ironman's fun.
Yeah, it's one of the better ones for sure, especially with all the spectators and it's more of a party than a race actually.
Yeah, that's true. I want to ask you a little bit, since we don't know a lot about you. What's your background? How did you get into off-road? Was this something your family did? Did you start out in off-road? Did you do any motocross? Yeah, give us a little bit of your background.
So my dad raced enduros back in the day, so it's basically I don't want to compare it to a trail ride, but it's a 60-mile like enduro. So you don't ride the same trail all day, and it's timekeeping. It's kind of confusing. But I have an older brother too. He raced professionally for a number of years, and we got into doing hair scrambles when we were younger and just locally. And then my brother was the one that kind of wanted to go nationally and try to make it and make a living doing it. So he was doing well locally and started doing the GNCCs and got support from Husqvarna, who was owned by BMW at the time. And then I was still on a mini bike then at that point. And just kind of once we started going, we just kept going, and I got better and better. And eventually got more support and through Husqvarna. And I've honestly rode a Husqvarna ever since KTM bought them back in 2014. So I've been doing the GNCCs for about 10 years.
Yep.
And then riding Husqvarna for about 10 years as well. So
okay, that's great. Yeah, being on the same team. And yeah, you're the 2020 XC2 champion. So when you win this thing this year, man, we'll have the big bike and little bike championship. And yeah, that's pretty awesome. Scotty, did you have? I think you were next. Yeah, I'm sorry. Now we're arguing. Sorry, Craig. Who's going to go next?
No, that's fine. So we all got to do an enduro race.
Yeah, the 3 of us in the studio.
Well, 2 of us finished. One of us didn't even finish.
I didn't
I had
technically
no-
finish either because remember I had that down rider that I stayed with and
Oh,
I
that's right. Only
timed
one
out.
of us. Only
Yeah.
one of us.
Only
finished.
you
Only
finished.
I finished.
I had no business being out there.
Oh yeah. Oh, we'll tell this story. We'll take Craig's time by telling the story. He'll laugh. But go ahead, TJ.
So but you were talking about the rocks and the roots, and so have you been to Barnwell Mountain? Have you ever heard of that place?
I have not.
Okay, it's nothing but a giant pile of red rocks and roots, and it was like the worst thing I've ever ridden in my life. And I had been hearing about the cross country stuff growing, getting bigger, or whatever, and I was curious about why anybody would subject themselves to that, and especially do it for a living.
I don't know. It's just what I've always done.
Yeah.
I ride a good amount of motocross, you know, during the week. I never really raced it. I've only done one motocross race when I was younger.
Yeah, so you know it's better.
I mean, the reason we always did the woods, like growing up, is, you know, motocross locally, I'm sure as you know, is you sit around a lot all day. You know, you got to ride 2 or 3 classes to get your money's worth. So my dad always thought that racing in the woods, you race for an hour and a half, and you get your money's worth, and you go home. You know, you don't have to sit there all day. Or that's kind of just how it started. And my brother and I, we just kept it faster and faster. And then, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, well, you could actually make money at it.
Yeah.
So then it's like, why not?
Got
So,
good.
Did y'all have a lot of places to trail ride and stuff growing up there?
yeah. So growing up, we, fortunately across the street, actually, it was like, I think it's like 1,200 acres or something.
Yeah.
Was it was pretty much a failed. You know, they tried putting houses in there, and I think back like in the the 80s, they tried to put actually a race car track in there. So it failed, and so we were fortunate to be able to ride right across the street from our garage, and have 20-30 miles of trails, and endless places to ride. So we were very fortunate growing up, and it's still around, to be able to ride and enjoy it. So we're very fortunate where we live.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of trail places in here in Texas. There's not a lot of BLM land. or any of that
it's
stuff.
private, some private ones. But let me finish the story though
All
of our enduro rides. So, so the 3 of us go. Scotty, who's in studio with me, borrows one of my bikes, and that's a whole nother story. So I go first, and I don't know.
So this is an enduro. So
Stage
there's
3.
Stages, yeah.
The guy in front of me crashed right in front of me, and they ended up having to life flight him out. So I stopped.
Oh.
TJ catches up 45 minutes later and goes on by. Well, actually, before all this even happens, when I go in to get fuel from stage 2, my other bike's loaded up, and Scotty's just gone.
Just gone.
Scotty
Cowboys
went
are
home.
playing that afternoon, man. I was out. I was gone.
I think
Scotty-
stage 1, Scotty said exit stage left.
Scotty just went home. He didn't even and didn't even wash my bike. Just left it, just gone.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was our story. That's the funny part.
There's a lot to it that's hard to say. It was a disaster. And technically, none of us finished because I did do the whole course, but somehow didn't get scored because I was 3 minutes late to the last gate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, anyway.
Yeah, you probably houred out, or
And nobody told me. They just let me go through the last section. And at one point in time, I'm leaning on a tree, out of breath. I don't know where I'm going. And some old guy is walking through the middle of the woods carrying his helmet. And he's like, I'm looking for my bike. And I'm like, how do you lose your bike?
Good times. Yeah. So anyway, back to you. The off-road stuff we've learned is very gnarly. Just from that, I did the Wild Boar one this year for Ampro. I rode Zacho's practice bike, and then I attempted Ironman. So they're just so gnarly. It's so impressive what you guys put yourselves through for 3 hours. I thought I was going to die the 2-hour one at Wild Boar. It's just absolutely amazing how good you guys are and that you can do that for so long. It's just such a different skill set.
It's it definitely takes time to learn. That's for sure. I will say that. The more you do it, the more you learn with anything. But Ironman last year, the one that you did, that was very difficult just because of the dust.
Yes.
I'll give you credit on that one. But Florida, that's a whole another element. That's I don't really have any words for that place. It's gnarly.
It's 3 for you. It's 3 hours of sand roller. Stand up on the balls of your feet and just corner, corner.
Yeah, and it's tight and twisty, so you can't jump them really. You just kind of got to smash them the whole time, and the whoops are close and they're peaked, so it's like you can't really wheelie through them or nothing. So you just got to smash through them, and it's an ass kicker for sure.
Dude. You remember the area where the house bricks were?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so my third lap, I was definitely dehydrated. Legs were going numb. I was getting blurry vision, but I was like, well, if I quit, I still got to get out of these woods somehow. So I might as well keep riding. And man, I'm blanking.
You're close to the end at that point.
So in my mind, not in my mind, in my helmet, I was yelling, where the F are the bricks? Where the F are the bricks? Just get me to that. And then I was thinking, they changed the course. Like, that's how effed up I was from dehydration. I was like, they changed the course. There's no way it took this long. But literally, Craig, you could not ride a motorcycle slower than I was on that third lap without just falling over. It was impossible. Mike Ulrich from Yamaha was behind me just to make sure I finished. And I don't know how he rode that slow. It was embarrassing, but I finished.
Oh, that's all that matters. That place is brutal. It's the toughest one all year. I mean,
well, that makes me feel better.
It used to be the first round of the season, and that was even worse, because it's like we have a race before that, so it's like you kind of get not warmed up for it, but you kind of get in the swing of racing again or before it used to be the first one, so it just kill you.
Yeah. So. I did have the great line at the end because Zacho was kind of making fun of me, and I was like, look, dude, that bike finished better. Your bike just finished better than it ever has before. Second place, baby. So, yeah, anyway. All right, go ahead, Scotty. I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Hey, Craig, so with, what I always found interesting with the GNCC, there's only about a dozen or so of you guys that, are really invested in the series and do every round, and you guys are all close, and, like, you had a win at Mason-Dixon, and then you had an 11th at Snowshoes. Like, it's so crazy how it can vary in results and stuff. Like in motocross, like Jet knows that the only guy really close to his speed that's going to be his main contender is Sexton, So in your sport, knowing that so many different guys have an option to win or just be there that race, or maybe there's a track that they do good on, how do you view your competition, and how do you prepare mentally for knowing like what guys to think about at what race, or kind of how does that whole process work for you?
I try not to think about everybody else, honestly. Snowshoe was an outlier. I really struggled there this year, and
that's the rocky one, right? A lot of rocks.
Yeah, it's muddy, rocky. It's just nasty. It's very. It's really, I mean, it is technical, but it's like, it's just the element, like the more mud than like rockiness, if that makes sense. Like, it's more I guess the elements, it's very technical, it's tough. And then, that stuff's hard to let alone ride, but to race it is like a whole different, it's a whole different thing. So, it's tough, and I kind of I had a little bit of an advantage going into that race, and I blew pretty much all my points lead after the fact. So,
what happened? Was it just the elements in general?
Yeah, I just struggled myself. I was up front early. I was within the top 5, and I fell apart at the end, making mistakes, falling, and I'm not the tallest guy either, so I struggle in those kind of tougher, gnarly conditions when I need to touch the ground and it's not there. So
gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you live and learn. So but I mean, as a whole, this year has been good, and racing, everybody in XC1 is either won the XC2 class or won an overall race. So nobody's like a slouch, if that makes sense. So
yeah, weren't there 4 or 5 different winners at the first 4 or 5 rounds?
I want to say 7.
7. Okay, 7, yeah. So yeah, shows how competitive.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Wow.
was. It's been a crazy season for sure, and it's kind of been, up until this point. Like usually, it's like the same three guys are kind of usually winning the races. Where this year is like it was. It took 7 races for me to win. To be the first one to win 2 races.
Yeah.
So, and this year has kind of been, a lot of people have kind of been all over the board with results. I had, I think, a 7th, and he said an 11th at snowshoe, and then I think a couple 5ths and stuff. So like no one's really been on the podium at every race, So
Wow.
it's been a wild season.
Yeah. So okay, so let me ask it like this: Who would be the person that you would at least want to have behind you, like on the last lap, just right there, like pressuring you? Like who's the guy that you'd not want back there?
I'm gonna say Stu because he's tied in points with him.
Well, yeah, I know, but just in barring the points battle, just in general.
There's a number of people. I mean, Stu's one of them. He comes on strong at the end. He's definitely a strong finisher. Ben Kelly has won. He won the last one at snowshoe. He's 4 points behind Stu and I. So all 3 of us are
That's so close.
pretty much tied at this point. So I would say those 2 guys are definitely my main competition, but also like last lap, it's all out at that point. So, but I mean, anybody in that class, I mean, if the last lap, they're in that class for a reason, right? So it's hard to say just one person.
Yeah,
I got you.
So you're coming in, you're tied. You got 3 guys that are, like you said, essentially tied when you put the 3rd place guy in there. Now, do you like do extra stuff to the bike to try to make sure that you don't have bike issues, or is it business as usual? Is that if that makes sense?
Like,
Yeah. No, it's
Like
pretty
extra
much
skid
business
plates?
as usual. No, it's pretty much business as usual. The GNCCs are, we have a lot of people kind of spread out along the track, like team personnel. So like they have radios, they have book bags with parts and tools and stuff. So they're spread out.
Oh, wow.
Probably every 2 miles or so between KTM, Husqvarna, and Gas. They kind of spread out. So if there is a problem, it usually gets relayed pretty quick, like where we're at, and they can usually come find us. So at that point, we don't really carry any, like I don't carry tools or parts on like in my Camelback or anything, like in case I have a problem.
Do y'all carry radios or anything like that if there's an issue?
No radios.
I didn't know if that was allowed with y'all or not, but
no, it's not.
I got one more question. What's the most damaged part for y'all cross country guys? Is it like snagging a brake lever or a shifter? Like what's the thing that is like pretty normal to tear off and stuff like that on the bike?
Yeah, I would say like the brake pedal or the shifter for sure. Yeah. Just because in the rocks and stuff, you get going through there, you don't know what's going to hit it. So
Gotcha.
I would say those 2 things. The chain guides, believe it or not, they take it quite a beating too.
Oh.
Like with the rocks and the gnarly stuff, like they take a good beating as well.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Couple more questions I have for you. With as far as training goes, week to week, before throughout the month, we know what motocross guys do. Whether they're at Alden Baker's with their trainers. What type of training do you do? Do you do the same thing? Are you in the gym almost every day, or are there different types of training that you do that would be different from moto?
No, I would say it's pretty close to the same as what the guys do at Alden's. I worked with Tyler Rattray in the past as a trainer. Yep. The year I won the XC2, I worked with Tyler, and that was the year he left Alden. So like it was pretty carbon copy of what those guys were doing, I would say, from what he told me. And then now I work with Caleb Russell, who was at Alden's, when he wasn't racing GNCC. So it's pretty similar, I would say. I mean, yeah, we're in a gym 3-4 days a week, running, riding bicycles, swimming, riding a lot. Like we're putting in 25-hour weeks, whether it's between gym, bicycle, running, or riding. Like it's especially this time of year, we're kind of in summer break. We got 3 weeks till the next GNCC, so we're kind of building back into the last couple of races. So it's kind of like I would say like a second boot camp. We have a boot camp in Florida from New Year's till the first race at the end of February.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have another boot camp that we're in now. So from August 1st till the first race back. So I think it's like September 15th or something.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, you just sort of brought it up, do you like that break in between the rounds? It's almost, a couple months, 2.5 months total, I think, something like that. Do you like having that, or would you rather just keep racing?
I don't mind it. I like it just because by that point, because we have to do 2 series actually with doing off-road. So I do the GNCCs and then the national enduros too.
That's right. Yeah. So you're not really off anyway.
No. So altogether, I'm doing, I think it's 22, 23 races a year. So by that time, end of June, beginning of July comes around, like I'm ready for a break. Like,
sure.
So, take 3 weeks off the bike, 2 weeks off the bike, and go on vacation and, do all that fun stuff. It's well needed, and then it kind of resets you and you're ready to get back to work.
Absolutely.
Hey, Greg, I wanted to ask about some of the fans and some of the people that race, because it's cool with y'all sport that y'all, you're racing with everybody all at once. And I always thought that that's like a wild aspect to what you guys do.
It sucks from my point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at Ironman, the industry class, which is what I ran, rides the same time as some of those guys. No, maybe they was different. I think Caleb, it might.
You were in the morning race.
Yeah, but it was last year at Ironman. Caleb Russell and Zacho were all there, so it was guys that were just. You cannot get out of the way. Anyway, I'm sorry. I interrupt you every time you ask a question.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm used to it. But it's not, it's not just the guys that are riding with it. Just the whole fans, the whole crew, the people that come out to the woods. It's definitely a different breed of people. And I always thought that those guys are awesome. And I just wanted to know if you had any cool stories of things that you've seen or something that an amateur did that impressed you. I don't know, anything that you can think of, just something wild you've seen in the woods, man.
That could go anywhere.
I've seen some wild stuff in the woods, like Ironman for sure. I've seen some wild stuff, like in snowshoe for sure. But like while I was racing, no, just a bunch of drunk people. I mean, that's pretty much it. Like at those big races, they just party and they don't even know who you are probably, or they're just there drinking with their buddies and just having fun. But yeah, the lappers things, I mean, sometimes they're not an issue and other times they're like the biggest hassle in the world. It's it's depends on what track you're racing and what the conditions are. If it's dry and dusty, it's like they're your worst enemy, but it just depends. But it's part of it. I mean, you can't get away from it. It is what it is.
Have you ever lost a race because of like a lapper in the last lap, something like that? Or lost a position?
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's definitely not fun when a guy that's not involved in your race but decides kind of the outcome of it. That's kind of tough to swallow sometimes, especially when it's an important race or you're battling for the lead or second. It's definitely not fun. Like this year, I had at the Mason-Dixon, the race that I won, I had a run-in with a lapper and I fell, and it was a dusty race and I lost the lead. And because of the lapper, I had to run in with him and crash and got past. And luckily, I was able to kind of get back going and repass the guy later in the race. But it happens all the time where you have a bump in, you crash with them, and you lose positions.
So you're talking about lappers and all that kind of stuff. And a few years back, I know that there was a huge influx of people showing up to the cross country and races like that. And then this year for motocross, they're having to turn racers away in the pro level because of like too many signups and stuff like that. How is it right now at the national cross country races as far as turnout for amateurs and for the pro classes?
I'm not sure about like numbers and stuff, but I would say it's up. I mean, some of these races are. I mean, they say that. I think what brother. We don't go to another outdoor national other than Ironman, but they say that that there's more people at the GNCC than there is at the outdoor national.
Dude,
Really?
I think there's more entries at the GNCC than people at the.
Entries for sure. But
I mean, I'm just talking about the people that
too.
come watch. I mean, there was like 800 or something. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but there's hundreds and hundreds.
But
and
is the
hundreds
pro
of
class
entries.
like that? Like, so they're having they're
no.
having like 90 riders is
No,
the cutoff
no.
for
I'm sorry.
motocross.
I misunderstood your question.
So like, and so I don't know if there's a cutoff for y'all, and are y'all reaching it each time?
No, for the pro class, there's no cutoff. I mean, usually at our races, like in our class, there's 10 to 15 usually at every race. Like there's no crazy amount in the pro class. XC2 usually gets 30 some people, I'd say.
Gotcha.
So XC2 is kind of more busy than XC1.
Right.
But like the morning race that Jamie did at Ironman, they've had to split that up into 2 races the last 2 years because they've been getting like, I think the most they had was like 1,200 riders.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, and it's a 12-mile track. So that's was that 120 people a mile or something?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They were just piled up on the hills and just people waiting. You just sit there and wait. Like, okay, I'm gonna let this guy go through the section, then I'm gonna go next.
So I love.
Yeah, it's like a constant train of people. It's like you can't even. You don't understand it till you actually see it. It's unreal.
I love riding the trails on the pit bike, and I think I'm just going to keep it to that and just stay. I take keep the big bike off the trails. So
we're gonna wrap this up.
It's not that bad.
We're gonna wrap this up, Craig. I got 2 more questions for you, but I also, first of all, brought to you tonight by Guts Racing, Craig DeLong. Craig is also an X-Brand rider, so we're sponsored by X-Brand on the show. Rich Taylor is a buddy of mine. Actually,
that's why he's winning the championship.
That's why he's leading, of course.
Yeah.
Clear vision. Yeah,
that's right.
The new Lucid goggle is going to win Craig DeLong a championship.
Love that goggle.
And it's going to win Hunter Lawrence a championship, even though it's branded by Alpine Stars. Yeah. So, yep. X-Brand goggles distributed by WPS. Go to your local dealership. Get you some. They're the best. Last 2 questions. Is there another event that is sort of like your dream event, whether it be something you want to do in the future, whether it be like a Dakar, Erzberg? I know you've done ISDE. Is there one that that's on your bucket list?
I would honestly, I'm from Pennsylvania and I live pretty close to High Point, actually, an outdoor national. Sometime, and I've ridden there quite a bit, and I would honestly like to try to qualify for it one of these years. I ride moto quite a bit. I think I can make it, but that's just kind of something that I would like to do is to qualify and see if I can make the motos. And
you should have done it this year.
This is the year.
I mean, they didn't. Christian's out and Malcolm's out. I mean, Rockstar Husky needed somebody.
Yeah.
Well, I was there watching it. It was muddy in the morning, and I'm watching the practices, and I'm like, man, these guys like. Because I'd probably be like in the B or C practice, whatever they call it. I watch these guys, like some of the guys go around, and I'm like, these guys don't know how to ride the mud, you know. No, it's cool, and guys that I've ridden with, practice with, they get in the motos and are top 20 to 25th to 30th place guys. So it's like I kind of have an idea where I could possibly be.
Right.
So, but it's just kind of something I would like to, try to cross off the bucket list someday.
Well, we have your number now, so when you do this, we're gonna be texting you to see how you feel for fantasy points.
Fantasy points, yeah. Yeah. All right, Craig, last question I have, and this is just a random question that I came up with and I started asking tonight. Just tell me, why do we race?
Because we love it.
Okay.
I don't know why we love it, but we do, I guess.
That's a simple enough answer, but it's a correct answer. I like it, man. Yeah, good job.
I
Craig.
ask myself that every Monday after a race.
Why do I do it?
Yeah.
That's great. Dude, I've enjoyed this, man. It's been a lot of fun. We got to get more off-road guys on here. Everybody has such cool stories and seems like such great personalities. But, yeah, good luck on these next 3. I will be at Ironman again with Michael Lindsay. I think I'm riding for the AmPro team again. But, yeah, I'm going to come over and say hi. I think I said hi to you at I think I did come say hi to you at the Wild Boar race because Cade, your ex mechanic, Cade O'Grady, was a buddy of mine, so I know I came over and said hi to him. But I'm gonna come see you. I hope to want to see you get this thing, man. I'm pulling for you. X brand, let's get it done.
No, I appreciate it. I really do. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, dude. Take care, and we'll talk to you real soon.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Craig DeLong, future GNCC champion.
I'm glad you asked him about that because I was going to, but I know he was running long on time. About what he wanted to do, and I was curious because like all of our week fantasy deal was it had to do with trail riding and it to a point. You know, I'm talking about like going riding in Colorado or going riding in different places, and his was moto.
Yeah, I know. I was not expecting that.
That was cool.
That's why I mentioned like I was also going to mention like Baja, right? The totally different style of riding than he does, but it's still long races. And yeah, I did not think he'd go moto. What'd you think? You ready to do another one, Scotty?
To do another hard enduro?
Just any off-road race.
I would definitely.
No, I want to do it again.
At Barnwell?
Yeah, I'm okay with it, but I want to do it on. I don't want to do it on the two-stroke. The two-stroke, the YZ. Like I think I would have been way better on the 350.
What we need to do is those. I forget what they're called, but the races are a lot shorter. I did one not too long ago.
Like
it's kind of at a motocross.
Yeah, there's like a series here in Texas.
It's a series here in Texas.
I forget what you did it. And
I did one, and
I keep wanting to say TVRC, but it's not. It's like TTMX,
something like that. I have to figure out what it is.
That's Texas Tornado.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know what.
But it's
I think it's actually a thing. I think TTs are actually a thing or something like that.
There are TT races.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually just did an interview with a guy from KYT Helmets that does the Isle of Man's.
Yeah.
Isle of Man's TT race.
But the Isle of Man race is a street bike race. It's all on the
street.
But
that's what a TT race is.
No, TT.
No, this is Isle of Man's TT. That's exactly what it is. I just interviewed him.
Well, maybe
are you talking about something different?
I'm talking different. TT racing that I know of is flat track with like two jumps in the straightaway.
Oh, okay. No, this is a TT race, but I don't know what TT stands for.
Anyways, we need to go do one of those together because those are fun because it's a little more open and it's not as gnarly, I guess you'd say, and you race your race. It's a little shorter. You're talking about it's like a 2-hour race, and it's whoever can get the most laps in that time or something like that.
That's basically what GNCC is. 2 hours, and you do as many as you can.
Right, but the tracks are shorter, and they're a little more wide open as far as like not wide open, but it's not single track as bad. Anyway,
and not all those enduros aren't that way either. We were told like some of them are.
The GNCCs are not like what we rode on.
Some of them are like snowshoes like that.
Yeah, but the other ones are They're a little more wide.
I mean, I guess I don't know enough about them to argue with you. I know the GNCC or the snowshoe one is the one they said was kind of the way it was described. Reminded me of that. Like you're going up rocky hills, it's like you're barely moving.
I just for the record, when I went to that hard enduro thing, that was just like a chance to. You guys couldn't call me. Hey, we're going to Billadilla or Cycle Ranch or something this weekend.
I don't think that was hard enduro.
No,
that was just enduro.
It was like, hey, you want to ride?
Super hard enduro.
You want to?
Yeah.
You want to ride with us? We're going to do a hard enduro, and I just kind of took the opportunity just to get to ride because how often does somebody say, "Hey, you want to ride this brand new Husky?" So I was like, "Okay, yeah, cool," but like. There was not one intention of me ever thinking that I was going to finish that thing. Like
my goal was to finich.
I
knew
finished if I wasn't.
My goal was
guy.
to like the fact that I drove out of there early and went and.
So you set yourself up to be a quitter.
Yeah, he knew he wasn't going to finish.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't going to finish.
I don't think he told us that.
It's not like I had been training for it and had my own bike and been riding and testing stuff.
I took my moto bike just like everybody else did. We just was like, "Hey, let's do this."
All right. Well, you're a better guy than I am, I guess, TJ. I don't know.
Well, that's true.
I never.
You don't cry.
I never went into that thinking that I was going to finish. The fact that I made it through one without like hurting myself was a win.
I regret trying to finish.
Yeah.
I wish somebody would have told me at the last stage when I rolled in there. The guys were just like, "All right, it's go ahead and go." They should have been like, "Hey, bro, you're not going to get scored for this last 10 miles."
Right.
Anyways.
I would have liked to have finished, but we stopped. So
yeah,
I went and saw that.
But they told you that you weren't going to finish. Somebody told you.
Yeah, it was afterwards. Thankfully, because the track.
Yeah, they told you, but no one told me that I wasn't going to get scored.
I overheard one of the other competitors say, "Oh, I've timed out." So that's how. But still, same thing.
Yeah. Well, no one. Yeah.
While waiting on Paul P to respond. So while we're waiting on him to text back, got another random topic that we'll try to get into, and if he doesn't answer in a minute, we'll get to some of our segments. I asked you guys ahead of time if there was like a docu-series, Netflix, whatever, following one rider, or maybe a book, an autobiography type book about one rider throughout all of motocross history. Obviously McGrath has already done his book, but who would you pick, TJ? Is there I think the docu-series is a better option for this question, but anyway.
Yeah, I would. Man,
and it sucks because if you go back in history, it's too late. Well, let's say this is imaginary.
Yeah.
So we can go back and the docu-series can actually cover.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be somebody from the 80s and early 90s.
Okay.
Right? Because we would get a glimpse into seeing
Havasu.
Hannah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Like somebody like Bob.
You're stealing my answer.
Oh, was it Bob Hannah?
Yeah, Hannah's my answer.
I mean, or somebody in that time.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like man.
They used to have those Moto X files. Those were cool.
Yeah, they were. You can still find a few of those on YouTube.
I forgot about those.
Yeah, those were actually
good.
pretty good. Yeah.
I think I watched the one with Danny Magoo.
I don't think they were called. I think it was just Moto Files. It wasn't Moto X Files, but I like that title better.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I was a big X Files fan. No, I'm pretty sure it was the Motocross Chronicles. Is that it?
No, it was Files.
It was
It was Motocross File. I think it was the Motocross Files.
Sporting
Yeah.
Woods said Doug Henry. That would be a good one.
Yeah.
If we're following the whole career, then and you really want to get your money's worth, it's Karsten.
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah, it's a long
He's still
book.
going.
I know.
Or I think that am I allowed to go? Can I?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll allow it.
I think my pick
Paul P's ready though.
would be would honestly be
We'll ask him this.
would be James Stewart. Because I think because he was so prolific in the sport and he was such such a defining person for the sport and the fact that he was supposed to be like that fast and that it didn't really you can if you ask James Stewart, do you have as many championships as you thought you should have? Then everybody's going to say that he doesn't.
But
so
how many
to see how it didn't work, to see how all the effort that went into it, and then to see it not work, I think would make it interesting.
I mean, we sort of we had
it
the
worked,
fake,
but
we had
I
the
mean,
fake.
But that's normal.
Show the whatever it was.
Oh yeah,
the
Bubba's
World.
Yeah,
World,
but that's
that's not
different.
what you're talking about. Yeah. Hey, let's get back into this in a second.
Okay.
Our guest is on the line. He's going to be brought to you by FXR, which is designed by racers for racers with industry-leading fit, finish, and performance. Progression is the name of the game with every new piece created. At FXR, we push our brand to the next level to provide you with the best products possible. Visit fxrracing.com to see the numerous gear lines, their colorways, even their snow lines and lifestyle casual wear. Go to your local dealership. Ask for FXR. Tonight, FXR brings us from Renthal and from Raise It for USA, Paul Perebijnos. What's up, Paul P?
What's up, Jamie Guida? How are we doing?
It's Guida, but that's okay. We're close. Guida, yeah.
Guida. I'm a big fan of your cheese.
Oh, yeah, it's good stuff. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Paul, so I wanted to get you on here for a couple things, but once again, we're getting close to Motocross of Nations. You were a big major part of the fundraiser last year, Raise It for USA. It's back this year. Tell us about it.
Yeah, excited to try to do it again and try to do, raise more than we did last year and really kind of show everyone the real premise behind this. And that's what you'll see, what we plan to build and have in France, in Rennes, to keep our guys together and to, again, try to remove some of the burdens that these teams have in going. And the premise behind raising all this money is to remove all that so we can always take the best team. Because a lot of these, I think what people don't understand is a race effort, a race team isn't a money-making thing, right? And you budget in November, December to go racing all year. And the goal is to finish the year and not have to go into your pocket any further. So you don't know if your rider is going to go to Motocross of Nations or not. So to tack on another 25, 30 grand to send a guy to France, it's a big burden and it's hard to, so really, I just want to try to remove some of that so we can always bring the best guys. Cause in my mind, we have plenty good riders in this country that we can always contend for a win if we send our best team. I just want to get away from, these B, C, D teams that we've been sending in the past. And then, it all kind of came together last year for the first time. So we're trying to do it again.
Yeah, it was very successful. We had a lot of fun at the golf tournament, even though my team was by far the worst team. So bad that you guys were already doing the award ceremony. We were still playing. Nobody even realized. I don't think anybody even realized we were still out there. We were so bad. But I had a blast. Yeah, this year it's at a different course. It's Strawberry Farms Golf Club in Irvine, right after the LA Coliseum. I think September 24th is the date.
Yeah. I really wanted to try to put it in the most opportune time to get as many people there as possible, or make it as easy as possible for them to attend. And I thought that was, the Sunday after the Coliseum in Irvine. It's only 6 miles from the Orange County Airport. We're going to try to get done really early in the morning so people can catch flights out still Sunday night. Everyone is invited, of course. I think a better course than we had last year.
Wow.
Hopefully more prizes than we had last year. And really, I think that's what made it fun and had a lot of people coming. And also what's unique is this is something specific for you now, Jamie, is we're going to do a media competition. And that's, media outlets can enter a 4-person team. Maybe some rules will still be tweaked up as we get closer. But, I think we're going to have some cool prizes for you guys, hopefully an electric mountain bike, and maybe something really special that I think everyone will be very much into if I can pull it off, but it's still a bit early to talk about that one.
Okay.
So this is open to basically the public to help raise money, but do you have to be good at golf to win the prizes?
No, clearly not.
Well,
oh yeah.
To win the prizes, or do y'all have prizes for the person who finished dead middle of the pack or something like that?
Unfortunately, they didn't have that last year.
Well, actually, yes and no. So we did have some random drawing prizes. Like we drew a Stasic completely random. I don't remember what else we had, but for the most part, all of our prizes were on contest holes. So longest drive, closest to the pin. I want to say we had about five or six of those contest holes. So we'll do that once again. But yeah, my goal is to also have more prizes that we simply are going to raffle away. So anybody that shows up and pays the fee and comes to play has a chance at winning something.
Yeah,
it's really cool that it's open to the public, so you can come out and play golf with industry people. There's going to be riders there, I'm sure. I don't know if anybody's confirmed, but it's a really fun event. I had a blast last year, even though I was terrible at it. Again, raiseitforusa.com. It's the number 4. You can check it out on Instagram. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff. I'm really excited about it. With the media competition, as of right now, it has to be 2 of the members of the team have to be media, or is it 1, or do you have that set in stone?
It's definitely not written in ink or stone. It's lightly in pencil, but right now it's just 1 full-time media member. But if I'm able to pull off the real thing that I think all the media members would be excited to play for, which is to give a hint, maybe some behind-the-scenes access to Team USA at the event.
Yep.
Then I likely will require each media outlet to have 2 full-time employed players on their team to try to make it more fair, and then we'll try to award those 2 media members some extra access at the event.
Well, I think ML and I are going to do a Vital team, and I have reached out to, I'm not going to say, don't shake your head, TJ. I mean, I'm not saying who it is, but I reached out to a
Ricky Fowler.
Damn it.
Who else would it be, honestly? Though?
Damn it. I have a little bit of an inside with that. I reached out, but I don't think it'll happen. But, what did Wayne Gretzky say? Like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take? Got to ask.
Exactly, and there is nothing illegal about that.
Yeah.
As long as 2 guys are on your team that work for Vital and are paid for Vital, and you can show me a pay slip, you can bring Ricky Fowler and Tiger Woods. I don't care.
Oh, well, I don't have his access yet. But
Tiger Woods just got through racing.
Yeah, Loretta's. I'll bring Tiger Wood.
Yeah.
There you go. That would be hilarious. Just sign him up like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let me ask you a little bit. How much did you raise last year? Do you remember? I mean, are you allowed to?
Yeah.
Can you say?
Yeah. $44,000. I want to say it was $250 $256 after that. I don't remember exactly, but 44 grand. And for the most part, last year we gave that to the teams to go to Redbud. And then this year it's going to be a little different because we have more expenses this year, obviously going to France. So,
sure. Yeah.
My goal is 50, but we'll see if we can get there.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it's awesome that we're trying to do things to help these guys get there. But the question I had was, there's obviously like some kind of grant or some kind of something that they used for Olympians to go represent the country. I know it's a lot bigger of a deal, but you would think that there would be some kind of funding that, it's something that it's a media covered thing that represents the USA. And you would think that there would be some kind of form of like something that you could fill out to at least request some kind of federal grant or something to help. Like I'm assuming that there's not, but I don't know if you've ever gone down that rabbit hole, or what do you think about that?
I haven't gone down that rabbit hole as deep as I likely could, but I don't disagree with you, right? And honestly, the effort behind this is to kind of put us on a similar playing field to some countries that do get support like that. And I don't know exactly how it works, but I know for a fact that many federations and countries are spending more than we have the ability to spend. I know France for sure. Australia is another one. And you could see it when they show up. They are well funded. They're well organized. They have, it's a professional effort. And if you want to send high level athletes, they need high level support. That's just the way it is. Yes, we can send Ty Masterpool and we can make it a shoestring budget. But if anyone knows me, I don't really do anything unless I do it full on as best as I can do it. Everything I'm all in, and I like to win, and everything else really sucks to me. So I just want to win. I want to win. And I think this truly does help navigate the politics of this entire endeavor and fix the things that can be fixed. It was really last year, I just got tired of making excuses and complaining about all the missteps and the problems. And I was just like, what can I actually do to fix it? And so, that's what we're trying to do.
So I know that you and Pelletier have been working closely on this. I was just curious how much, I know you're helping raise the money. Are you part of picking the team and stuff like that too? Are you are you doing that? Are you that much involved? Or are you just helping out with the fundraising?
Yeah, I mean, I would say my role has grown into very much being a voice at the table. In my experience through last year and now this year, I would say Team USA is kind of like a committee, and it's Mike Pelletier, Christina Denny, Roger DeCoster, and myself. And I think we all complement each other very, very well. I think the misnomer about the team is that, hey, the team manager has dictation of the team and final say, and what he says goes. And I honestly have not witnessed that yet. Yeah. Last year it was a collective decision. And this year it is a collective decision. There is a number of riders on the list. I was involved in many meetings this weekend. Obviously, I think between Christina, myself, Mike, and Roger, everyone has relationships in the pits that are closer than others. So, for instance, I've been very connected with Jason Anderson and Cooper Webb and Chase Sexton. Those are the three guys that are on our list still. Yeah. That I am closest with, right? So, I would say, again, we all complement each other well. We all have different skill sets, and the way I've seen it work is Mike is really taking everyone's opinion into consideration, and then trying to make a team choice, what's best for the team from there.
Speaking of the team, you just mentioned Coop, Jason Anderson, and Chase Sexton. All three of those guys have things going on. Well, two of them have things going on that, team changes probably coming up. And then one of them, Kawasaki generally doesn't want to send somebody to MXDN. So they all have these little things where we hear, oh, that's probably not going to happen. Do you have a more positive outlook on the possibility of a couple of those guys maybe being able to go? I know Chase told me he would go if the opportunity was there.
I would think it's likely one of those three is on the team. I guess I could say that. Okay. And what really throws another, I guess you have to go back even further. What Eli Tomac being out is one ripple, right? Sure. He would be an automatic choice that everyone agrees on. Same thing with Justin Cooper. He would be an automatic choice everyone would agree on. But he's getting married, and I think I told this story somewhere else. I actually knew the date was changing for designations at Anaheim 1 on Friday. I was speaking with Davey Coombs, and I found out. I contacted Justin immediately. I said, hey, this is what's happening. And he was like, dude, we booked our venue last month because as soon as the schedule came out, we put it in the weekend after SMX and before designations. And Jillian tried to change it, but it's an expensive venue. It's a non-refundable deposit. So, you can't tell a guy and his fiance to change that. So, no. Really from there, that's when it starts to get tricky. And yeah, I think we're taking in everyone's opinion, and we're trying to wait as long as we can so we can see everyone race. Obviously, we really wanted to wait for Barsha this weekend to see how he did.
Yep.
So, yeah, we'll see. I guess it's still not decided.
Do you know when it'll be announced? Do you have a tentative? Are we gonna do it before Ironman?
No.
Okay.
It won't be before Ironman. It will be at Ironman.
Okay.
Oh, at Ironman.
Well,
That's
okay,
cool.
yeah. I guess I worded my question poorly. One more thing with the trip and everything. The competition. There's a few teams that I'm worried about. What team do you feel is the biggest threat for this year?
I would say threat number one is France for sure.
Okay.
I think that team will likely be Roman Febvre, Maxime Renault, and Tom Vial.
Oh yeah.
Tom Vial won at this track. The last year they had a GP there, which was 2021, I believe. Roman is on fire right now. He keeps winning. And Tom Vial is pretty good. And I think he's better than Thibaut Benestant, which would be their other option. But really, it's France, it's Australia, it's the Dutch.
Yeah, that's the other one, yeah.
And I want to say it's one more on my short list of 4. Oh, Team USA. Yeah, we're in that top 4.
Nice. Did you have something, Scotty? Or
No, I did.
Oh.
So I have a question. How come, I know for a while there we had like a run of smaller teams and guys putting together stuff for like Puerto Rico and Guam and stuff like the things that they're kind of loopholes for Americans
Some of our guys, yeah.
to race. Why don't we not see that anymore?
You know, that's a good question. I don't really know a lot about it or what the specifics are to sign up a Puerto Rican team, and obviously it just looks like they have to be Americans, right?
Right.
And I don't know much about the fundraising efforts done in the past. I know that the biggest one they did probably was around Redbud when Pastrana and Wyndham and Sipes were involved. But no, I don't know much of the details behind what they're. I want to say they raised money for the community as well, or for the country in some way.
Yeah. So my thought was always, especially years where we're kind of top heavy, would be like this year we're struggling to get together. It's to send 2 teams, because that would even if like we'll call it the B team, putting air quotes up, they could get in there and break it up to help America win. That's what I've been thinking.
Oh, you mean like sending a Puerto Rican team as kind of like a B team to Team USA?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I think you got to have one guy that's Puerto Rican.
That's defensive for sure. I'll give you that.
That's what I'm saying. You like just get some guys that could guys that are
6
running
factory riders.
Yeah, exactly. We have 6 factory riders there, and then so for sure those guys could just basically run block for the A team.
After I can get this Raise It for USA fund up into the 6 digits, then I'll start to consider your idea.
Yes.
I like it.
I just since I came up with the idea, I just want to help. I don't care if I'm just like the water boy for the team. I just want to help out.
One more question on the Raise It for USA golf tournament. You've got these questions last year. I'm sure you've seen them on social already. People want to know, why can't we do it on the East Coast? It's logistic stuff. Yeah. I know down the road, ideally, you would have more than one. But it's really hard to get all these people in one place without an event going on that weekend.
Yeah, and honestly, I've heard that from a lot of people, and I would love to do it, trust me. But this is, to get started on this thing, I've already come out of pocket at least $4,000 myself just to reserve a golf course and travel to look at the damn golf course. If I'm traveling to Ironman to look at the course, it's a lot more expensive than if I drive over the hill to Irvine, right, from where I live.
Mm-hmm.
It's just and all my resources and assets are in California. I wouldn't have to ship easy ups and signage and all these things, or even source them there. I would say it's not ruled out. I would love to do it in the future, but that's really why I've tried so hard to put it on the date we have. I figure the most amount of motorcycle fans that we can get in one place would be surrounding a race.
Yep.
And if I can only do it one time, it needs to be at the height of Motocross of the Nation talk. I also want it on a day when I can get as much industry and riders to participate, because I think they bring the fans, right? Last year we had Jason Anderson, Chase Sexton, and we had a lot of people there. Tyler Keefe from the TLD team, Daniel Blair played. Obviously, a lot of media outlets played. So, yeah, trust me, I've heard it. I would love to do it, but baby steps.
Yep. And the weather's going to be a little bit better out there than it is midsummer out in the East Coast.
Oh, well, yeah. And honestly, I hope we have better weather this year dark side, you remember last year it was awful. It was 105 degrees after Paula on Sunday when we were playing. So just being over the mountain in Orange County, I know we're going to have better weather. I just hope it's not as blistering as hot as it was last year either.
Paul, before we let you go, again, brought to you by FXR. Raise it for USA, the number 4.com. Check it out. Follow them on Instagram. Get involved. What's going on with Renthal? How's everything going? Loretta's just wrapped up. How many championships did you win? What's new at Renthal?
Yeah, Renthal's great. Honestly, I am so blessed to work for this company. It is, especially in an industry that goes through its movements, right? I feel like I'm in a very secure place. It's a great brand. Industry is not great right now. It's not super healthy. A lot of people don't have, discretionary income to spend on things. So that is definitely affecting the industry, and it will affect our fundraising effort as well, especially when you're asking all these companies for extra money. But, Renthal's great. I think this next year will be the most exciting for some of the new products we have coming. We have a new product that will actually be launching this weekend at the Parts Unlimited show. I'll be in Wisconsin for that. Next year, we have even more new products coming. We'll probably do another limited edition like we've been doing in the past. I think it'll be much different than what you've seen from us in the past as well. On the racing side, I don't know how many championships we got at Loretta's. Not enough, I will be my answer. But we are having a hell of a year on the pro side. I think we have a chance to win every single motocross and supercross title around the world this year. Between MXGP and Supercross here and Motocross here, and I'm not counting World Supercross, but both MXGP classes, all the Supercross titles, all the national titles. I think we can do it, which would be really cool. I haven't seen it happen yet since I've been at Renthal.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and changing the subject a little bit, I just want to let you know that you have completely ruined my year of racing.
Is this fantasy talk?
By promoting the fantasy stuff and seriously, I get halfway through the motos and I just can't watch anymore. And I just want you to know how much trouble you've caused.
I absolutely know your feeling. I was there many, many years ago. And yeah, that's why we kind of, it's such an addictive game though. It is honestly like heroin in your veins, how that game, I can't peel myself away from it. I've lost my mind over it in the past. I think I've gotten much better at controlling my emotions and trying to, and getting mad over how other people perform.
Yeah.
But man, it really does clue you into the racing in a different way. That is for sure. I think it really highlights the privateers, even though I know they hate some of the backlash and the crappy things sometimes people say when they lose their mind. But it definitely does give them a platform that they are being recognized in a way that they otherwise never would be recognized. No one on the TV broadcast is talking about anybody outside the top 20, but if you're in the top 28 in our game, you're newsworthy, right? So,
absolutely, yeah.
Well, the problem is y'all are too good. Y'all know the sport. Y'all know the sport too good. So the handicaps are crazy because we used to play.
I don't know.
Back in the day,
Dan's kind of sucked it up this year. I think.
No. I'm saying their handicap setups and that kind of stuff because we played the old game before the Pulp one came out, and I was crushing it every year. Like I was I was like top 10 at least a couple of times, and then now these industry guys get in there and make it harder to play, and I literally hate it. And
I feel you, and I remember the old game, and it wasn't so. Yes, the handicaps were a little more out of whack because they were being set by a person that probably didn't have as much insight and intel as we have. But I was able to win a motorcycle in that game in 2010. I remember I won the fantasy game and won a motorcycle, so that was super fun. But the other problem is there's so many people playing the game. It's not just you. Absolutely have to crush it to get in the top 100 because there's so many people.
I
playing.
know.
Yes, we all do.
But I truly appreciate the handicapping comments because that is something that's kind of like my responsibility within the game, right? All of us that are involved, who own the game, all have different responsibilities.
I dislike you more.
But yeah, I tell you, it is hard to basically predict how you think everyone will finish. Especially when you got Euros coming over that haven't raced in 2 years and a 40-year-old that's been to his nation 18 times, but he hasn't raced in 2 years. How the hell do you handicap that guy? So
what is Mike Brown's handicap going to be if he comes back to race around next year?
That's a good question. He would probably be like a 16 or so. I would say it really all depends on the field.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brownie. trust me, I'm well aware of Brown's speed and his fitness, but I also am aware of the level of a professional race also.
Oh, I just figured out how we could break Jet's streak if we wanted to. I'll pick him in fantasy.
I'll just pick him in fantasy.
Yeah, if I pick him in fantasy,
that might actually work.
Yeah.
Everybody pick him in fantasy this weekend.
No, anyway. Well, Paul, man, I know you're at your son's football practice. Appreciate your time. Really excited about the Raise It for USA golf tournament and the fundraiser. I think it's really cool that you got involved and how quickly this thing is really taken off and people are aware of it. It's great.
I hope so, and I owe that to guys like you, Jamie, that are allowing me to talk about it and speak about it and support our idea. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that are like, why the hell are we raising money for Team USA? But I know there's also a lot of people that are very prideful for our country and prideful for our guys and want to see them succeed, especially when we know they can succeed. All we have to do, in my opinion, is support them and support a top-level athlete in the way a top-level athlete should be supported so we can go there and do our job. So I appreciate the time, and I hope it goes well. And please, everyone get involved. Check out the website. All the details on the tournament are on the website. You can donate. You can sign up to play. And we'll be making a lot of updates in the coming weeks as we add prizes and all kinds of exciting new things.
Sounds great, Paul. Thanks for your time, man. Again, I know you're doing family stuff, so thank you.
All right. Take care, boys.
All right, see ya. Paul Perebijnos, brought to you by FXR. Raise it for USA.com.
I just thought of something. We got to text him and let him know that they should make, like, next year. I mean, probably don't have time for it to do it this year, but like 100, maybe 200, like Team USA crew shirts that were limited edition that you could only get like for like the year. You get what I'm saying? And then sell those out just to help raise money.
Yeah, maybe.
Because people like
T-shirt cost. Then you got the T-shirt cost.
No, I know, but you sell them for like $50 a piece. You know what I mean?
There's some moto industry places that maybe would help with those costs. But yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible idea. Yeah. I like it. Okay, real quickly, because we're at a little over 2 hours.
All right.
You gave your pick, right? Was Bob Hanna your pick for the docuseries? I mean, it's kind of my pick, but J-Law, you mentioned J-Law off the
J-Law would have been good.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
you mentioned Stu. Do you have one?
Stu.
You said Stu.
No,
okay.
I said about Stu that, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I was on a tangent about Stu is not, like, Stu is the norm. You have a young up and coming fast kid that's going to be the next whatever.
Yeah.
And then they don't pan out. Look at Jet Reynolds, like the winningest Loretta Lynn's rider ever, I think, like on mini bikes. And look where he did. Look at Alessi. Look at Stu. It falls under. Yeah. So, anyways,
So
I think I chose Stu because there was a lot of mystery to his program, and you've heard stories of like, oh, we were supposed to meet up to do this shoot, and he just didn't show up, and there's a lot of family dynamic, and there's a lot of like in-depth stuff that I don't think that we ever saw. So I that's kind of why I picked
that's
him.
good. I think it's a good one.
Yeah.
Like I said, Hannah was mine, but
Hannah would have been.
I also have McGrath on here just because, again, everybody knows how cool I think he is. But just I'd like to see the weekend shit at Havasu and how much did he really train versus just go playing, versus just go playing in the hills. Like I think he'd be a fun one to follow. All right, let's get into real quick Luxon emails. We do the Luxon MXGP review, but this past MXGP in Sweden was terrible, so we're not even going to talk about it. Luxon, when it comes to triple clamp suspension and chassis parts, there's no comparison. Luxon MX makes the best parts you can buy. Their advanced engineering background and techniques allow them to develop products that are unlike the rest. They're lighter and stronger with optimized stiff. I have a hard time with that word. Optimized stiffness to enhance your riding comfort and precision. All Luxon products are designed, engineered, and made in the USA. You know what? I'm going to give this to you next week.
Okay.
Scotty gets to read it next week.
All right.
Check them out online. I forget. At www.luxonmx.com. All orders of $100 or more ship free within the continental U.S. MotoXpod show to save. The Luxon email is from Shane Bagley. This is one he sent a couple weeks ago. I've been waiting for you to be back in, TJ, and us to get to it. He wanted to know what the biggest POS car vehicle you've ever owned was. I'm sure we all have, but you're the perfect person for this.
He buys one every week.
Yeah, he just bought one. He drove it here last week.
I have owned well over 100 cars.
So what's the biggest piece of crap that you've ever owned?
I mean, it depends on what you call it.
Go look to the right of his shop, man.
Yeah.
It's just,
it's
stuff
probably
everywhere.
the Fiero.
No, the Fiero's amazing. Watch your mouth, sir. Biggest piece of crap. had to have been one of the old rusted out Volkswagens just because they were a piece of shit.
Like a Beetle?
Yeah, because it was just junk. But a piece of crap as far as like.
Something you drove.
Huh?
Something you drove.
Probably one of those.
Okay, you did drive.
Like
okay.
literally the frame was like bending when you hit the brakes and stuff like that. But those are pieces. But the maybe I had like an 80s K series Chrysler car. That's just was literally a piece of crap. Like
you can't say literally a piece of crap because that means literally it came out of your butthole.
It came out of some. It came out of whatever. What's his name? My brain just pulled a blank. The guy who ran
Iacocca?
Yeah. Came out
How
of
did I
his
come
butt
up with
crack.
that?
It's a
Lee
good one.
Iacocca.
Yeah, it came out of his butthole, and they put wheels on it.
Okay.
I mean, it was like just junk. And then my Dodge that I have now, that truck, the interior is any Chrysler product.
Dodge interior is terrible. What about you, Scotty? You have one that stands out?
I had a KTM 125 that never wanted to run right. And it's not a car, but
We'll accept it.
I don't accept it.
Yeah, I guess I don't know that I ever really owned anything.
I was the reason why my cars became a piece of junk because I was an
Did you
idiot.
leave the drain bolt out?
Stuff like that, yeah.
I had my very first truck was a Mazda B2200 truck, like this little bitty teeny truck, and it was literally doo-doo brown. But it really wasn't even. I mean, it ran
Because they ran. Cars like that.
The thing is, I don't know that I really ever had a piece of crap.
I've never had
vehicle.
like a car that I was like, oh, it's a cold morning. I don't know if I'm going to make it to work today. I've never really had that.
I love those kind of cars.
Yeah, I've never really had that.
I can't say that I had that.
I like taking a piece of crap and drive because it just adds a little edge of excitement to your daily
Fair enough.
drive.
Motul TJ's Tech Tip. Motul founded in 1853. For decades, Motul has developed high-performance synthetic ester-based lubricants by selecting esters over other high-performance synthetic-based stocks and combining them with an innovative additive package. Motul has created a perfect synergy. This most advanced ester core technology allows the maximum power output of the engine without compromising reliability and wear. Great. They're out of order. My sheets are out of order.
You are a mess.
I am
today.
out of order.
Your sheets all over the place.
It
It's
doesn't
on
matter.
Tuesday. It's what it is.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it's every week.
We've
I
done
was just
more
trying to-
shows on a Tuesday than we have Wednesday.
You can find this in the entire
That's
Motul
true.
Power Sports product lineup at their online website, shopmotul.com. Use code VITAL20 to receive 20% off your order of $50 or more. What was your TJ Tech Tip?
Well, I know I've talked about running coolant before. Make sure you distilled water. I noticed this weekend at the track, I saw a guy who's looks like radiators were boiling over. It gets hot out this time of year. The tech tip is to check your radiator cap. Make sure you go up, especially if you're in a place that's hot. If you go up, on the radiator cap, it'll say 1.1. That's 1.1 bar. It's 1.1 atmosphere, which
For
is
some reason, I feel like we did this already, no?
not this part, but as far
Okay.
as
He talked about not putting water, making sure
using
they-
water because
Yeah.
of its boiling point. But I was just it's just this time of year was something that popped in my head today. And if you go to a 1.8 bar, then that gives you an extra 22 degrees before water boils. So
Wait, so the how hard you tighten the cap?
no. So on the top of the cap, it'll say 1.1. That's 1.1 atmospheres. So that's going to be 1.1 bar creates 15.9 psi.
Okay.
Inside the radiator. It'll hold back 15 psi before the spring inside there starts to let coolant out to overheat. And so if you go to a
trying.
if you go to a 1.8 bar, then that spring is stronger.
I
On
get
what?
so
The-
frustrated with
the
this.
cap,
On the radiator cap.
like tightening it.
No, the number on it.
Yeah,
Oh, you just get a different cap.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This whole conversation frustrates me because you sound so smart, and I hate saying that, but you literally can't spell. You don't know the difference between you are and your.
I know the difference.
No, you don't.
I do know the difference.
Then why do you constantly use the wrong ones?
Because I'm retarded.
We're
So then it means you
stop
don't
using
know.
that word.
Okay, sorry.
Just stop using it.
He
I'm
can-
not very
He can
big
use it
on
because
this.
he is it because he is it.
Yeah.
I don't really care that much about what is the term when
PC.
Semantics.
PC either, but I don't. We
Anyways.
offend enough of our listeners with language and stuff, so let's try not to use that word. But yeah, anyway,
But
what was the one we made fun of you today? What was it today? There was something today that you used two words that were wrong. I have to go through our group text, but
I don't know.
I want to bring it up now. I'll look
I
for it.
don't want to bring it up now.
I do. The X Brand Forum check-in, again, Lucid Goggles, Craig DeLong running them. X Brand has quietly grown into one of the premier goggle choices available. Dude, I sold 13 or 15 pair of goggles at Swan this weekend.
That just means that you haven't been
crushing
servicing
it.
our local
Well,
area
it was
enough.
cool. Like one dude came and bought a pair of Lucids. He didn't really know what they were. He was wearing another brand. He went out and rode. He came back and bought 2 more. And then another guy bought 5 pair of the flat outs, like the basic goggle.
The cheaper goggle?
Yeah, the cheaper one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was awesome. They're using some of the most grueling conditions in GNCC by guys like Lyndon Snodgrass, Craig DeLong, Bryson Neal, numerous others. Kyle Chisholm's wearing them. Again, Hunter Lawrence is wearing them with the Alpine Star branding. Visit xbrand.com, eksbrand.com. Go to your local dealership and ask for X Brand, distributed by WPS. I promise you will not be dissatisfied. Okay, so the X Brand Forum check-in, I don't have it pulled up anymore for some reason, but I wrote it down. The title of this, I had it up so I could read some of the comments, but it was titled Commentary Approach in General. At Matt, M-A-T-Z-E, posted it. And he was just complaining about the commentary in general this week. And I actually did not like the commentary this week because there was too much going on. You had Stu and Weege in studio. You had Ricky Carmichael up on the tower. He made sure to tell us that like 27 times he was up on the tower. You had Will. You had JT. And I really felt like they were talking over each other too much. And it was like almost like, oh, hey, TJ, you got to get your point. Oh, hey, Scotty, you got to go point. Hey, ML, you got to have your point. It's like they were too busy worried and making sure everybody got a moment. And yeah, it was distracting to me. Do you guys have any thoughts on it? Do you even care? It's not a big deal.
It's not a big
deal. It wasn't
deal.
terrible, but it was not. It was off.
I was just worried about is Ricky freaking out because everybody's doing a better job than him now?
Oh, yikes! Why would you say that?
Well,
that wasn't.
That was true.
Well,
I believe
he's an idiot.
Okay, I mean that's fine if you can believe that, I guess.
Yeah. So because I do believe that it's Ricky's fine, but I mean.
Oh, okay. I thought you were being a little more. Okay.
No, Stewart is picking his game up and doing really good and not yelling neck burn all the time.
That's true. You know what? Weeds told me that he has said to Weeds he re-listens and he goes, I got to work on that. He's paying attention.
Yeah.
He's
and
good.
he is trying to be better.
That's
impressive. And Ricky's done that too, though. Ricky has worked very hard at getting better.
No, Ricky's fine, but
yeah,
I'm
not saying.
I'm saying everybody's come up to his, and we know what happens to announcers who start to encroach upon Ricky's.
Stop. Move on. Move on.
Yeah.
So
no conspiracy theories here.
No, it's not
man.
conspiracy theory. I'm just saying.
Just move on.
I'm moving on. I'm going to be quiet now. Sorry.
What is your YouTube channel for your garage stuff?
I'm not talking to you right now.
Promote
I'm moving
it.
on.
You don't want to promote it?
He's trying to help you out.
No,
he's
he's
trying
not.
to plug you
He's
up,
trying to
man.
make
I'm going to make fun of you, but you could promote your YouTube channel for people that like your tech tips.
A Moto Heads Garage.
Is it a Moto Head?
Yeah.
Moto Heads Garage.
Moto, not motor, but Moto Head Garage.
Heads.
Oh,
If you listen to go on YouTube, if you listen to the show and he's in the comments, you can see it.
Yeah. But you posted a reel, I think it was, on Instagram.
But that was on Instagram.
But it was
when I
about your YouTube stuff, and you put in here.
I checked on my YouTube page where I put it, and I put it right on the YouTube.
Okay. But you posted on the reel, you're showing some video of all your tools and how cool tools are, and you're correct.
Your cool tools?
Here's what he wrote, Scotty. To all the people who need me to simple projects for them.
To do. I forgot the word do.
So I wasn't sure, did he mean to do simple projects or to simplify?
This is
but this is the kind of crap he does
dickery.
constantly. And then I said something, he said, what? I screenshot it and sent it to him, and he still didn't see it.
Stuff happens, man. It happens.
Okay.
Can I never got to
commentary. You didn't get to say anything. I'm sorry.
So the couple of things that I have, overall it's fine. I thought that it was a little busy. I agree with you. The things that have bugged me a little bit is
are the things.
Oh, few things.
Plural,
yeah.
You see what I mean?
A few things. That bug me are. And it's funny that you said that because one of the things I was going to say is some of the diction is pretty bad. I was somewhere. It's it kind of bugs me sometimes.
Yeah.
But what the thing that I don't get is why is Stu and Ricky telling you about a hockey game or something that's coming on NBC later?
Well, they have to.
Why?
They have
No,
to
that's
promote it.
Weege's job.
No, I think Stu is asked to do more of that. He's asked
Well,
for
why?
more.
I don't.
Because he wants
it's
to
not
get better.
Stu's fault.
No, he wants to get better, and he
Oh,
wants.
he's
wants,
saying that I want to do those
yeah,
things.
he's asked.
But that's not
he's
his. That's
asked
not his
Weege,
job,
like,
though.
No, but he wants to get better and be more involved. So the more he says, and the more like, hey, let me do this read. It's instead of just commentating, he's learning the other side of it. So he's
Okay,
he's asked
that's
like
fair.
to even do a couple times. He's
I didn't
done
realize that was
the
the
15
case.
minutes.
I thought that NBC was like, "Hey, we want Stu."
No,
I'm like,
Stu is to ask Weege,
like, 'cause that
hey,
makes
can I
no
do the
sense.
15 minutes to for say 15%?
Ricky will be doing it before long.
yeah, but I don't think Stu needs to. I think he needs to. I don't think he needs to do that. I think he needs to stay more just like does he want to
That's
become a?
Yes, I think he does.
He wants to become like a Weege.
Yeah.
No,
well, I don't. He just wants to be better at the job.
Yeah,
So-
but the job doesn't require him to do those things.
Well, if maybe he does want to do that role, the play-by-play.
Play-by-play.
Yeah.
Or move on from motocross into other sports
Maybe.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
he just wants to get better. So
I just never understood that.
That's why though.
Yeah, that
he's
makes
asking
sense.
for more
If he's asking for it, that
responsibility
makes
and
sense.
to-
I
yeah.
thought NBC was like, "Hey, we want Stu to read this," and I was like, "That doesn't make any sense."
Stu wants to. I think we talked about that on the Pulp review show or something. He mentioned it, but yeah. So I commend him for that. Yeah, he's trying to get better. But you overall, you thought it was fine.
It's okay. They do us a lot of, "Hey, what do you think, JT?"
Yeah,
or "Hey,"
but it seemed more this week.
yeah,
right?
I
There's
agree.
been three.
Well, you know why, right? It was NBC.
It was
NBC.
show.
It was NBC.
Maybe
show.
that was right. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, we're gonna switch it up this week. Pro X, rooted in racing from motocross to off-road, supporting teams like Pro Circuit Kawasaki and Pro Yamaha and SLR Honda. Pro X has been dedicated to supplying quality components since 1975. From complex jobs like an engine rebuild to simple maintenance like filters, chains, and sprockets, Pro X aims to bridge the gap between OE quality and affordability. Find Pro X at your local dealership or online retailer. Visit prox-usa.com to search for parts for your bike and follow Pro X Racing Parts on social. The Pro X highs and lows. I've got mine ready to go. I don't know if you guys do. First, let me pull up. Shane Bagley sent his in. High was Dylan Ferrandis saying the bike is better and is happy with it. Progress to someone beating Jet, maybe. His low, Jason Anderson pushing a flagger, taking his flag and almost getting hit by a rider. What the hell, man?
I missed that video. I never saw that.
It's all over the place, but
I need to look for it. But
I think it's on Moto Fails.
yeah, probably.
So-
I haven't been. I've been working.
There's a couple. You don't see him push the flagger, but in one angle, and I only saw
Yeah.
that one time, and it wasn't like an aggressive push. The guy was trying to get the flag back from Jason, and Jason's like, "No, hell no," because he
Yeah.
didn't feel like the guy was doing. It wasn't like he just walked up and pushed
Was
the
this
guy down.
practice or something?
Yeah, qualifying.
Qualifying. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, you want to do your highs and lows, Scotty? You got them?
Sure.
All right.
My highs were that that Jet finally just went ahead and won the championship, so that we can stop pretending that he's not trying to win every race.
Okay.
Because I mean he obviously is. And then my low was Barsha. I just feel
Yeah, I
like
was disappointed. We all thought he would be on the podium, I think.
yeah. But the general high was that we were racing this weekend. That was just it was kind of cool to have that normal.
Have it back.
Yeah, to have it back.
Nice.
And I don't know. I think I kind of liked how the track turned out to be.
So right.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't really had that, and I think it like
I
I
don't
feel
like
like I feel like it made it more interesting.
It's technical.
I mean, yeah, it was,
Yeah.
it was maybe not
I
the
didn't
best.
like it for the
maybe
racing.
not the best racing, but
Yeah.
but I mean like those. I'm glad to see that we're giving those guys rough tracks.
Oh, I was like, yeah. Why am I hearing myself? TJ, highs and lows. Procs, highs and lows.
Yeah, my lows were Barsha. I think I had to. You stole that one from me. But my highs is gonna be
totally did it on purpose.
no. I'm just. Anyways, I would say my highs this week have nothing to do with the races.
It's fun.
It has to do with our live chat. This today has been hilarious. Like,
Okay.
I've
How
literally
many people do
been.
we have in the chat?
It's only been 46 tonight.
Oh,
It's
that's
kind of
low.
low. It's real low, but it's like
But not everybody knew we were doing it Tuesday, maybe.
right. And the guys are just
How high? How many are usually in there, Scotty? Do you pay
80.
attention?
We get
on average.
over 100's a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, our average low is
Yeah,
80
yeah.
or whatever. But the guys were just killing it tonight,
Good,
being
good.
funny. So
All right. My highs was Jeremy Seawer finally winning an MXGP this year, and my low was the Swedish MXGP sucked.
oh, did it?
Yeah, it wasn't good. It was very hard to pass, very boring, like almost no passing. Yeah, it wasn't great there. But if you guys want to go to the Vital MX podcast feed, Lewis Phillips and Adam Bailey did a very
Okay,
because the MXGP review is always good, but the race was so bad that they pretty much just kind of told stories. And
Okay, so I want to listen.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Like Lewis lost his breath laughing at himself so much. Like it was really good.
Well, I have it queued up to listen to, and I pulled in here, and then when you said that, I was like, I'll skip it.
No, it was
but
really
I'm
good.
glad you said that.
The review is worth listening to. As honestly, I think all our podcasts on the Vital Feed are worth listening to. Lewis's are very good. So that's the Procs highs and lows. We'll get into now the 60 picks for Budds Creek. Since its inception, almost 12 years ago, 60 Helmets has been dedicated to the relentless pursuit of brain protection. The ATR2, with the ATR2, the goal is to develop a revolutionary design concept utilizing creative, forward-thinking technology that would change the market and improve the safety capabilities of the sports helmets. The helmet is the most important piece of protective equipment you will purchase, so visit 60helmets.com and or go to your local dealership and ask for 60. Check them out. Try them on. Very, very great, fantastic, comfortable helmet. Safe helmet. 60 picks for Budds, 250 class. I'm going Justin Cooper, Hunter, and Hayden Deegan. I had Hayden at first, and then I decided Justin's coming back. Justin was on it this weekend, and I think he wins Budds. TJ, you want to go?
I was gonna say Justin,
okay,
Deegan, and is RJ going to be back?
I texted RJ today. He didn't say, but I think
if he's
even if he is, he's going to be pretty banged out.
Hunter.
Yeah, I think
Hunter sails this in. I don't think he gets in a.
Okay.
In a
yeah, I can see that. That's
smart.
why.
I mean, he won this last one going 2-2.
That's
right,
he's just gonna be
true.
Like and I think Hayden is gonna rebound. Be back
Yeah,
on
he's
the
kind of
podium.
he's
That's
kind of
why I
done
put
that,
him in
having
first at first because I think he's going to rebound from the emotional thing. But then
Justin
just
I will
was so
say-
good.
second moto.
Yeah.
God, do you think that he just real quick? Do you think that he would have done that the first moto if he wouldn't have had that steering dampener thing on?
Yeah, that was weird. He just fell back.
It was very drastic. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say, yeah.
Yeah,
What else caused him to
I
be
don't know.
so off? He was obviously he was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Moto 1 to where he had to back it down.
If it's
I
electric,
asked him to
figured
come on the
they'd have
show
a
and he didn't
switch.
respond.
You think he'd have a switch, turn it off or something? But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, who your pick, Scotty?
I'm gonna go Justin Cooper, Hunter Lawrence, Kitchen.
Ooh,
Okay, is a good one. Good
I
one.
didn't think about Kitch.
I did. Yeah, I thought about it too because he looked good, but I don't see him beating Hayden so much. But
He's
maybe,
doing PC next year,
Huh?
Kitchen going to PC.
Yes.
I do want to say though, kind of sidebar, but the way Hayden turned around that first moto, it sucks that it ended that way it did, but like it did not look like he had it figured out and like he was overriding the track and that he was gonna get left like he has a couple times this year. And the fact that he lashed onto Hunter and stayed like that was really cool.
The kid, I know there's people that don't love Hayden Deegan. The kid's impressive.
Oh yeah, his skills are unquestionably good.
You know,
he is going to be a champion.
I personally, I've said this before, I like Hayden. The interactions I've had with him, he's a very friendly, very polite kid. I like him. I think he's going to be a star of the sport for a very long time.
Yep.
He's got a tremendous amount of talent. It's very impressive, a kid that age, new to the pros, to watch him figure out a track that he's not really raced on or never raced on, and not only not even like you said, not from moto to moto, but like in the middle of a moto, not doing so well. I got to figure it out. Let's go.
You don't have to
pretty
like
awesome.
Deegan family or anybody like that to say that this kid is going to be a champion and like the trajectory is going to be high.
Does Jet go undefeated? Let's just say Budds Creek. Does he win both motos, Scotty?
I honestly don't think like there's too many. The two big things is that it's seemingly impossible for Chase to start in front of him. Even the couple of times that he has, he immediately gets around him, and it's like I don't think Jet's gonna let him pass him. I just don't. Like, I mean, it's obvious that Chase is given like he's trying.
I feel like Chase had him in Moto 1 this weekend before he took that inside line. Like I feel like
he did, but I mean, but he didn't.
I don't know that. And I don't know that Jet couldn't have turned it up and got it back. I think that was one of the best opportunities he's had.
Do we have time? Can I go off on
a
little
tangent?
Yeah. I really like. I hate the whole thing about how it's like, oh, we're not worried about the undefeated. Like, dude, that dude is definitely thinking about
he's
going
admitted
undefeated.
it now. He's
Yeah.
thinking about
Well,
it now.
now, but why did we have to go through this whole little
He didn't want it to.
charade?
I think he
I know I'm
didn't
trying
want it to influence everything. Like the championship was
I
primary.
mean,
Why
he's
do
trying to
guys-
go out. He lines up. He's sitting there on the line, thinking that nobody there can beat him.
yeah, you might be right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Might be
like
right.
it's like I just hate that we have to do this song and dance of.
Yeah,
the
I
whole,
wish we could just be more upfront. But then
Yeah.
if he had said, I'm planning on going undefeated or whatever, then everybody would be like, well, he's so cocky. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, no, it's obvious that he's the fastest guy.
Yeah,
Like,
but I think he handled it right.
Yeah, I mean,
Personally, I
like-
think that the character trait of saying, "Man, it's not like my priority. It's not really what I'm thinking about." That's just whether it's true or not.
I mean, I
that's
did
the
like
smart
I
answer.
did like the point where he was like, well, if you win every moto, you win the championship. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
the best way to handle it. I hate that we put him in that position. Like I just
Yeah.
yeah, obviously he's
I
trying to
mean,
win every
but
race. Like yeah,
that's-
like
that-
are you
that would
thinking about the
happen-
undefeated
that-
season yet?
that
Oh, I'm
happens
trying
in-
to win every race.
NFL when the Patriots are, 11-0 or 12-0. You go, oh, you guys. That's the same question every
I know.
press
It's
conference. It's just so they have to be like, yeah, we're not thinking
Same
about
old
that.
situation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I want to thank our presenting sponsors, Racetech and Boyesen. I want to thank ProX, X Brand Goggles, Guts Racing, FXR, 6D, Luxon, Motul, WSA. I want to thank Paul Perebijnos, Craig DeLong, and Seth Hammaker for coming in. Or not coming in, coming on. Again, MotoXpodShow@gmail.com. Give us your thoughts, opinions. Get involved with these segments. I want to know
Trip. The
yeah,
vacation.
your fantasy moto trip, vacation, 2-week trip. I would like to know who you'd like to see a docu-series on. Give me some details of why. Anything that we talk about, man, send us your emails. We want to get more fan involvement. And yeah,
I tried to put the email address on the chat earlier. For some reason, it
We'll
wouldn't.
let it.
It won't. Yeah, like it showed up on my chat, but it didn't show up in the feed. So
Weird.
So yeah, so
Can you do it since you're not the
MotoXpodshow@gmail.com. I'm not the main thing. It's just
But my
that's
phone.
right.
I'm
Okay.
under it. I'm
Yeah.
under it. It's just
You're under your own. That's
yeah.
right.
Just
Yeah, I think that's it, guys. Great show. Next week, as far as I know, it will be Wednesday. Originally, I was going to Ironman. I think that has changed. Could change again. Who knows? But as of now, you'll be gone, TJ,
will
back to
be.
work?
Yep.
TJ will be back at work. But as of now, the show will be next Wednesday night. Appreciate you guys listening. If you're on YouTube in the chat, we love it. We'd like more people in there. See ya.